Come up here. Jack, come on. Hello, Ken. I'm wondering if I can turn the... Let's see. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. All right, Ken, let's do your card. Let's do your... I need to flip myself. Boom. Okay, let's see. Boom. Okay. I think I was able to fix some of it. We'll see. All right. What do we have for Ken today? This is the gold and silver violet flame dragon. Transmutes the old around you with wisdom and grace. It's time for transmutation, magic, and healing. Offer service under grace. Let's see. This card suggests it's time to let go of an aspect of your life that is no longer serving you. Ask the gold and silver violet flame dragons to clear the thought of it totally from your energy fields. Sense or feel them etherically burning up the old, and then ask them to replace it with new and joyful possibilities that come to you at a higher frequency. When you connect with these dragons, you have a wonderful opportunity for service work. You can send them under the law of grace to any person or place that needs transformation. And remember, you'll also be working with Saint Germain and Archangel Zadkiel, who will illuminate you. So take a few moments now to direct these dragons to heal people, places, situations, and the world. Hello, Dinky. Hello. Hello. And that was a good one. I like that. Shay, hello, my friend. Thanks for the heart, me. All right, let's see. What do I got for Shay today? This is the water dragon. Helps you flow easily around obstacles. Christ-light and love are flowing. Develop your psychic abilities and go with the flow. You are very welcome. Very welcome. Let's see. Jack. Psst. The message the elemental water dragons are bringing you is to flow around your challenges with loving intent. If you ask them, they will help you look for an easy way to circumnavigate your challenges and to deal with people lovingly. To enable this to happen, they will help you to develop your intuition and psychic abilities by touching your third eye and allowing the petals of your psychic center to open. When you listen to your inner wisdom and trust that the water dragons will guide you, the course of life will run more smoothly. Ask them to cleanse the cells of your body, for this will enable you to shine your light even more brightly. Then your guidance is to relax so that they can access your energy fields and pour their golden light of unconditional love into them. This will bring you love, wisdom, and healing and enable you to travel effortlessly on your ascension path. Shay, that was a good one. I hope everyone's having a beautiful Thursday. It's Throwback Thursday, so we usually do past life readings on Thursday. Also, there is 2 days left to grab alignment audits if you're someone who wants to know what's going on in your energy and what your guides have to tell for the year. All right, let's see. What do we got? Dinky, this is Archangel Gabriel's dragon. Brings purification. Self-discipline will speed ascension and bring joy. You carry Archangel Gabriel's diamond. Thanks for the heart, me. Hi, Queen. Receiving this card implies you are expected to cooperate with Archangel Gabriel's diamond white dragons using self-examination and self-discipline to accelerate your ascension. The dragons can then illuminate you internally with happiness, clarity, and higher expectation. You will become a shining beacon and will automatically radiate light that shows others the way. You will have earned the right to be a walking master, and you will carry in your fields the glorious light of Archangel Gabriel's cosmic diamond, which is a life-transforming ascension tool. The diamond white dragons will swirl around and dance around you, ensuring that the glittering, shimmering cosmic diamonds stay securely in place over your energy fields. It'll protect your aura and fill you with joy, purity, and bliss. Dinky, that was a good one. I like that one. Queen, hello, my friend. How are you? Sandra, thanks for the follow. Jess, hello. Hello, Sam. All right, Queen, let's see what we got. Queen, this is the Golden Atlantean Dragon. Helps you remember the wisdom of Golden Atlantis. Awaken, bring back your knowledge, gifts, and talents, and reclaim your mastery. I am great, my friend. Thank you for asking. All right, let's see. This card invites you to activate your own personal fifth dimensional blueprint, for it contains the light of the incredible era of Golden Atlantis. The Golden Atlantean Dragon, who has come to you now, worked directly with all the great masters of Atlantis during the Halcyon days and remembers exactly who you truly are. Prepare to reclaim your mastery. You're ready to dissolve the final veils of amnesia, and your dragons will assist you to do so. Ask it to breathe its golden fire into your third eye so that the final clearance and awakening can take place. Your dragon will then remain with you and shine light into you as you prepare to stand in their power as an Atlantean master. Queen, that was a good one. Thanks for letting me pull it for you. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. Oh no, Queen, that's a bummer. I'm sending you all the love, my friend. I hope everyone is having a beautiful day. Today is Throwback Thursday. We usually do past life readings, so I always have 6 spots open for past life readings. They're 22 a spot. If you would like one, Julie, thanks for the heart me. If you would like an oracle card, I ask that you send the heart me if you can. Otherwise, just let me know and I would still be happy to pull it for you. And this is your friendly reminder that there are 2 days left to get your alignment audit for 2026 until they're gone. All right, Julie, let's see. This is the Earth and Water Dragon. Creates the foundation for new growth. A fresh start is coming with new opportunities, so nurture your ideas and harvest the abundance. Hi, Beatus. Hi, Monica. Hello, everybody. If you are planting a tree, you place its roots into the soil and make sure it has a good foundation. Then you activate its growth with water. In due course, you harvest the fruit. The more effort you put into providing the perfect conditions for the tree, the better the crop. The card is showing you that this is a good time to create. With the gracious assistance of the Earth and Water Dragons, you can lay a strong foundation for your future. Picking the card suggests it's time to start a new phase of your life. Fresh opportunities may be presenting themselves to you, so be ready to nurture any ideas or visions that come to you. The Earth and Water Dragons will enable you to know intuitively what is right for you and to harness your creativity. They'll help you to generate the right conditions to succeed, and they'll motivate you to put in the necessary work for this important step, and then you can harvest your abundance. Hello, butterfly, my friend. Hello, Beatus, hello. Charlie, thank you for the follow. All right, I'm going to Julie. That was a great card. Next, I'm going to Jess. Then I'm going to Butterfly and Beatus. Okay, let's see. What do I got for Jess today? Oh, Jess, this is the Alpha Dragon. Harness the divine masculine power of creation. Destroy the old, visualize your dream, and help to manifest a new world. All right, let's see. Jess, Alpha Dragons are bringing you a very special message that you're being called to demonstrate creative forces in your current project or experience. So ask these magnificent beings to assist you and know that their masculine energy will empower and strengthen you as you visualize what you want to build. You can also ask these dragons to support you in constructing our fifth dimensional world. As you hold the vision of the new golden age, they can take your pictures and breathe life into them. This is the card of raw power and creation, so ensure your intentions are pure. Boom. Jess, that was a good one. All right, let's see. What do I got for Butterfly? Jackson, the next thing, it's going to be a shoe. Stop it. All right, let's see. What do I have for Butterfly? Thank you for the rose. I couldn't see who that was, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget there's 2 days left to get alignment audits, and the new podcast episode comes out tomorrow. Butterfly, this is the Silver Lunar Dragon. Bathes you in divine feminine light. Come into balance and practice peace, harmony, and cooperation. Expand your causal chakra. Let's see. Choosing this card suggests that you call on the Silver Lunar Dragons to bathe you in their energy and that you practice peace, harmony, equality, cooperation, love, unity, and wisdom in your daily life. A lunar dragon will be close by, helping and supporting you. As you're bringing yourself into balance, you're doing your part to bring the planet into equilibrium. Visualize your causal chakra as your own personal moon. The silver lunar dragons will touch and expand it until the frequency is high enough to allow pure white unicorns to step through. Butterfly, thanks for the roses. That was also a beautiful card. Bye, Beatus. Have a good day. All right, then I'm going to Monica. Let's see. What do I got for Monica today? This is the Fire Dragon. Burns up the lower energies around you. You're safe and protected. Be determined and inspired and clear your soul pathway. Courtney, you beautiful boo thing. Hi, Sneaky McSneakerson. Hi. If you have received this card, it is time to invite the Fire Dragons to burn up any circumstances in your life that is not serving you. Call on them to delve deep into your childhood or past lives to release you from the past so that your future can shine. They have the ability and power to travel along the timeline of your soul journey, clearing, healing, and transmuting as they do. They are happy to do this while you sleep if you ask, so ask them to clear the light and path in front of you each day, and then relax and trust that all is as it should be. Monica, that was a good one. Big fan. Who's next? Shayna. All right, let's see. What do I have for Shayna? That was quick. This is the Source Dragon. Attunes you to the infinite. Be still, and in the silence, magic can happen. Be in the moment. Claire! Hi! A Source Dragon has come to you now because it is time for you to enjoy a period of stillness with awareness. Breathe deeply and listen to the silence. Something very sacred is coming into your life. This could be anything from the fruition of a long-held dream to becoming a true master. It's being presented to you now. Be diligent, calm, and focused, and remember to breathe deeply. Breath is the key to being in the moment, and this is where the greatest magic happens. Ask the Source Dragon to accompany you on every step of your exciting new journey, and always remember that the present moment creates your future. Shayna, that was a good one. Claire, I have something to talk to you about when you come back. You are so welcome. So don't forget, There are 2 days left to get, what is going on over here? What is happening? There is 2 days left to get alignment audits. They look like this. So I tell you what's in your energy, what your spirit guides want you to know, and then I put together a ritual for you to do to incorporate that stuff. It is $33 hairs. It's only up for 2 more days. If you're someone who grabs one, you're entered into a waffle to win your soul design. Don't forget too that tomorrow is a new podcast episode and there is a live guided meditation Saturday if you are someone who hangs out over on the Shadowlands. Courtney, do you want a card for the day? Is there anyone else who's been waiting for a card that I've missed? Oh, we have a flash goal. Let's see how that goes. Hello, Lizzie. All right, I'm going to Courtney and then I'm going to Lizzie. Let's see. What do I have for Courtney today? This is the Silver Dragon. Illuminates your potential with higher light. Access untapped resources. Look into your soul and see higher possibilities. Let's see. Did I pass him? Yep. Your 5th dimensional soul blueprint contains the keys and codes of your gifts, talents, wisdoms, and power. Much of this is locked away and unused. Receiving this card suggests that it is time for some of this potential to be ignited and brought forward into your life. You're ready to reveal yourself and be who you truly are. Sit quietly and see or sense the shimmering silver dragon who has come to you. Allow it to reflect back to you the hidden aspects of your soul and your higher possibilities. This may or may not be a conscious process, but it'll inspire you to express your essence and transform your life. Be ready to develop any gifts or qualities that the dragon draws to your attention, because you may surprise yourself. Thank you guys for the heart me and the love yous. Boom. Hold on, I saw someone helping me with the list over here. Thank you. Okay. Courtney, that was fabulous. You're so welcome. I hope you're having a good day, my friend. All right, Lizzie, let's see. I'm going to Lizzie and then Amanda. Lizzie, this is the Silver Lunar Dragon. Bathes you in divine feminine light. Comes into balance and practice peace, harmony, and cooperation. Expand your causal chakra. My day is beautiful, honestly. It's beautiful. Some people may suck, but life is good, Choosing this card suggests that you call on the Silver Lunar Dragons to bathe you in their energy and that you practice peace, harmony, equality, cooperation, love, unity, and wisdom in your daily life. A lunar dragon will be close by, helping and supporting you. As you're bringing yourself into balance, you're doing your part to bring the planet into equilibrium. Visualize your causal chakra as your own personal moon, and the Silver Lunar Dragons will touch and expand it until the frequency is high enough to allow pure white unicorns to step through. Lizzie, that was fabulous. Okay, what do I have for Amanda? You're welcome. Let's see. Amanda, thanks for being patient with me. This is the Earth and Air Dragon. Represents a perfect balance of heaven and earth. Stay balanced, ground your visions, and manifest your hopes and your dreams. Let's see. This card indicates it's time to clarify your hopes and your intentions. Ask the brown and blue Earth and Air Dragons to illuminate your visions. Then ask them to help you take all the action necessary to bring those visions into physical reality. This will re-energize your life. These dragons also offer you assistance in rising above your challenges while remaining grounded in the beautiful vibration of Earth. They enable you to find the perfect balance so that your life can truly flow with grace and ease. So call on them now and ask them to help you understand the purpose of your life's lesson and see the highest good in all people and situations. As you see the lessons presented to you on your ascension pathway from a new perspective, your life will be filled with joy and purpose. Amanda, that was a good one. Thanks for letting me pull it for you. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Thank you guys for helping me with the flash goal. We get as many love yous as we can. Do not forget that there are 2 days left to grab alignment audits. If you're someone who would like one, whenever time you book it for is the time that it appears in your email. There is a live meditation in the Patreon on Saturday, and the new podcast episode is tomorrow. Also, I am looking for Claire. So Can someone let her know that if you see her pop by? And then we're doing past life readings today. So when we get our likes go up a little bit, we'll just do one for shits and gigs and see how it goes. Hi, Omen of Kittens. How are you? Thanks for the love you. We need one more love you. Do you think we can do it? Do you think we can do it? Omen, would you like your card for the day, my friend? I'd be happy to pull it for you. Lizzie, thanks for the love you. Ken, thanks for the love you. You guys rock. Thanks for helping me with the flash goal. I am fabulous. Thank you for asking. All right, Omen, let's see what we got. Ooh. This is the fire dragon. Burns up lower energies around you. You are safe and protected. Be determined and inspired. Clear your soul pathway. Claire. Claire, would you like to do your energy work today? I was hoping I was going to see you. All right, let's see. If you have received this card, it is time to invite the fire dragons to burn up any circumstance in your life that is not serving you. Call on them to delve deep into your childhood or past lives to release you from the past so that your future can shine. They have the ability and power to travel along the timeline of your soul journey, clearing, healing, and transmuting as they do. They are happy to do this while you sleep if you ask them. So ask them to clear and light up the path in front of you each day, and then relax and trust that all is as it should be. Hi, Jen Marie, you beautiful boo thing. How are you? Okay, perfect. All right, I've been dying to ask you that all day, Claire. You're so welcome, Omen. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull Jen Marie's card, and then I'm coming to Claire, and I'm going to pull Claire's card, and then we're going to do her energy work. So don't forget, today is Throwback Thursday. We usually do past life readings today. Also, there's 2 days left to grab an alignment audit. If you are someone who's been thinking about getting an alignment audit, they're only available for 2 more days. They look like this. I tell you what's in your energy, what your spirit guides want you to know, and then I put together a ritual for you that you can start doing to incorporate some of those things that we found. If you are someone who gets an audit, you're also entered into the waffle to get your soul design. So there's 2 days left for those. Also, don't forget, there is a live meditation on Patreon on Saturday too, and the new podcast comes out tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to Jen Marie, and then Claire, I'm coming to you. Let's see. What do I have for Jen Marie today? This is the green gold dragon from Sirius. Brings universal knowledge to your spiritual pathway. Learn about spiritual technology and be a transmitter of sacred knowledge. Let's see. Drawing this card suggests you invite these luminous beings to swirl around you, touching your chakras with the sacred geometry of the universe. Then ask them to tune you in to any aspect of higher knowledge you can't bring forward now. Sit quietly and allow this to happen. You may receive a download of information or various keys and codes to carry in your soul that may light up. If so, you will become a transmitter who broadcasts sacred knowledge, though you may not be consciously aware of it. This is a very powerful dragon, so notice subtle changes in your thoughts and attitudes, and your dreams may reveal memories from your travels with the wonderful green gold dragons from Sirius. Jen, that was a good one. All right, let me... You're welcome, Jen Marie. Okay, so Claire. Let's pull your card. And then do I have permission to come over? I'm going to put this up. Okay, I'm going to pull your card, and then do I have your permission to come on over and visit? I'm going to be honest, I just pulled you. Hello, Gypsy, how are you? Okay, I just pulled you 3 cards. Here's the thing. I think it's also helping me roadmap what I already know. So I'm going to read you the one that's most prominent. So that is this one. This is the Rose Pink Dragon. Prepares your heart to connect with the higher facets of the cosmic heart. So let's see. Let's see. Hello? Oh, I found it. Receiving this card suggests that your higher heart is ready to connect to your cosmic heart. Ask the rose pink dragons to touch your heart center and sense its awakening and expanding. When the 4 central petals open, they sparkle with diamond light, and they contain the highest facets of love energy throughout the universe. Be aware of them lighting up so that all 33 facets of your heart center are active. You may see or sense a shaft of rose pink light flowing from your heart up to the cosmic heart, which opens wide to you. Breathe soft, warm pink light into your aura and notice how you transcend your emotions as the rose pink dragons stay close to you and light you up. All right, Claire, I'm coming over. I'm coming over there. Have you been having a hard time trusting yourself, so you've been stopping yourself from saying a lot of things? Do you also have an achy left shoulder? Can I ask you something? Did this achy shoulder thing start? Like, did someone try to offer you something, or was there something that was like in the last week, like whenever this started to, because I have a feeling this is newer, like in the last, I don't know, week or two. I feel like you're blocking yourself from receiving something. Have you been like doubting yourself about doing something, or like not? Okay. Not, I can't tell if it's, it feels like it's a couple things. It feels like it has to do with love, but it also feels like it might have to do with some like financial stuff. Does that make sense? Okay. Can I ask you something? And you don't have to answer me, but do you have trouble offering payment for your gifts because you doubt them? Okay. All right. So I'm going to be honest, I can do a whole podcast episode on this if you want, because I think there's a lot of things that spiritual people have a hard time accepting money. Especially if you have trauma around it. And what it ties to and is directly correlated to is like our self-worth and some of those pre-programmed, indoctrinated things. Have you also been like struggling with heartburn? Okay. Claire, how's the grounding been going? It's okay. I'm not, please know, for this is everybody. This is a no judgment situation. Whenever I read someone's energy, it's never out of judgment. It's just how I can help. So, and I know that's different for some people. So I just want to put that out there for everybody, that if you're ever someone who's allowed me in your energy, please know that whatever I see, it's never a judgment, because I know that you could see it in me too. So just, I want to put that out there. So, okay, here's what I want to do. If you're okay with it, I also am supposed to ask you this again. Are you struggling to remember to disconnect from the person every time you're starting a reading? So when you're on your live stream, are you having it, like, are you, this is what it looks like is happening. Okay. I think, do you sometimes get overwhelmed that you want to help everybody and you are forgetting to disconnect between people? Okay, so I'm just going to tell you how I do it. And I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but I'm just going to tell you what I do every time I do a reading. So every time I pull a card from somebody, I pull that card and then I cut my cords every single time. So every time that I disconnect from someone, I cut my cords before I pull the next one. That's why a lot of the times you'll see me look over, like I just do this where I kind of like zone out over here for a second, and all I'm doing is cutting my cords from that person so that I'm not bringing them into the next person's reading. And also it gets overwhelming for us. That's why we also start to feel overwhelmed, at least for me. When I haven't cut my cords is when I feel overwhelmed. The other thing that I do too is whenever the stream is over, I do a huge cut, and then I go cleanse my space, just because people have, like, a lot of times too, the people that we interact with through this space don't have great spiritual hygiene and energetic hygiene. And again, no judgment, but it's just being cognizant of what we're picking up and what we're not picking up, because it isn't ours. So if you're okay with it, I would like to do some energy work around your Earth Star chakra, your heart space, and your throat. Okay. What I would like you to imagine is that I am standing on the right hand side of you. I have one hand over your chest like this. My other hand is directly parallel to this one, just behind your back. Out of my hand is coming this really, really pretty green emerald light. When I ask you to take a deep breath in, I would like you to imagine, I have to sneeze, I'm sorry. I would like you to imagine that you are pulling that same really pretty light from the bottom of your feet all the way up to the top of your head. So we're going to close our eyes. Okay, we're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And let it go. You're going to feel a large rush of energy at your feet. Don't try to guide it, just let it go wherever it needs to go. Big rush of energy from your feet to your root, and then it's going to go right to your throat. Big rush of energy in your mouth. You might get a lot of spit in your mouth. Quick drop in your belly. You're going to feel your heartbeat in your throat for 1 minute. Big rush of energy in your chest. It's going to push up and into your left shoulder and push out that block. Your hand might feel numb for 1 minute. Claire, what I want you to imagine is that in the center of your chest is this really pretty purple light. Every time you are taking a breath in, that light is getting bigger and bigger until it envelops you in a shield. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And let it go. And before you open your eyes, what I want you to do is this. I want you to imagine that you're looking at an outline of your body energetically. Off of that outline is coming a bunch of cords. Some of them are thick, some of them are thin, some of them are slimy, some of them are colorful. What I want you to do is I want you to take some kind of sharp object and I want you to cut through every single one of those cords that's attached to you. And then after you've done that, I want you to draw a line in the sand between the cords that are left dangling off of you and the cords that are in front of you. And in doing that, you're drawing a line to say, this is my energy and that is theirs. And then once you've done that, I want you to slowly open your eyeballs and come back to me and tell me how you feel. Hi, Yodi. Oh, you feel better. I am fabulous, Yodi, my friend. How are you? I hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. Perfect. So I also want to leave you with a couple things. You are worthy of your gifts, okay? I'm going to tell you something that was said to me. So when I first came out of the spiritual closet, I told everybody that I'm a developing evidential medium, okay? And I remember that was like my thing. I always would tell people like, I'm developing, I don't charge because I'm just starting to do it for other people. And a couple things I realized very quickly. I had another practitioner who said, when are you going to take developing out of that? Because you are an evidential medium. I remember they were very vividly like, you're not developing, you are. So that was something I had to own. That was part of the I am present stuff. Because they were right. I am an evidential medium and I will always be developing, but selling myself short was half my problem. The other thing too was I did everything for free out of obligation that my worth wasn't enough to charge for. And it bit me in the ass. And so my guides told me for weeks that like, you're going to have to start charging. And one thing I'll tell you that happened when I did start charging, a lot of people got mad at me. That was something I was very surprised at. The next thing was I realized that when I started taking myself seriously and taking energy exchanges seriously, the right people stayed and the people who weren't the right would go. Does that make sense? So this is for everybody who's running their own business, okay? Your worth is predicated on what you give it to. So if you hard launch something, right? Say you hard launch something, but as you're launching it, you're like, this might not work. I don't really think this is going to do very well. You already just killed it out the gate. So know your worth, know the work you're putting in and accept it. If you are someone who's struggling to receive money in your business, you're struggling probably to receive help, receive love. You probably don't like to ask for help. You probably keep yourself busy. And the reason you stay busy is because there's unfortunately this like deep-seated unworthiness that you're probably not even conscious enough of. And you won't be until you're able to slow down a little bit. It's one of the biggest things I've really started to notice in people's soul designs, is that there is like this deep unworthiness that people have, but they don't slow down enough to acknowledge it. So there's just so many things. The podcast episode this week's going to be fun. Hello, Dinky. Hi, Tim. You know what, Claire? What I'm going to tell you is something I've learned for myself, okay? People will continue to pick you apart forever. And I'm going to tell you why. 1, you put yourself out there. 2, you're on the internet. 3, people will put other people on pedestals for some unknown reason, okay? And whenever we do that, the person that we put up in the pedestal, right, eventually isn't the person that we've built them up to be, because, well, that's how we built them up in our head, but that's not actually who they are. So God forbid this person like sets a boundary or, messes up like humans do, or what just says something you don't agree with. Now the entire image you've built of this person up on a hill has like crumbled. So that's why I always tell everybody, like, I am not more important than you. I don't mentor for that reason, because I don't think there should be a weird hierarchy. I am a human being just like you. And the only reason that I do this work is A, I want to help people. 2, it's part of my soul contract. And I also know that like other people's interpretations and projections of themselves aren't mine. Claire, I could tell you some stories. I've had people like, amen, Linda. I've had some really like crazy experiences since I've started this business with some people. And the only other thing I will tell you is when you do start putting yourself out there, people think they deserve more of you. And you're going to have to be really good at setting boundaries, because just because I'm someone who is publicly on the internet, that does not mean you can message me for mediumship for free at 11 o'clock at night. That does not mean that you're my best friend to the point where you can text me at midnight and say, can you call me? Something just went bump in my house. That's not what I'm not a pocket, like a Polly Pocket. I don't know how else to say that, and neither are you. So I always tell people, like, use your discernment, but also I'm here to show you that you can do the work. It's why a lot of people don't like a couple things. One, I tell the truth a lot, and I tell the truth about things people aren't ready to acknowledge in themselves, and that's okay. And if your truth pisses somebody off, Claire, I think sometimes it needs to happen that way for them to get the message. Because who am I to not say my truth just because it might ruffle somebody's feathers? Maybe I have to ruffle your feathers to get you to pull your head out of your ass. That's fine. I don't care, because it's not a reflection of me. I'm just telling the truth. I'm not being rude. I'm not being hateful. I think there's a lot of things about delivery and the way we speak to people and the way we speak to ourselves. So I hope you know that you are worth it, and people will forever project their own stuff onto you. It's just your job whether you pick it up or not. Girl, I get it. I have been a recovering people pleaser, and it's harder before it gets easier, if that makes sense. I've also been Captain Save-A-Ho before, where someone comes to me about their problem and I gotta fix it, or, someone comes to me. One thing I've also learned too is whenever people come to you to fix their problems or to complain about other people, it's not for you. They're trying to just validate their experience, whether they're right or wrong. So that's another thing I've learned this year too. Like, when people message me to talk shit about somebody, or they send me screenshots of somebody, or, I just don't partake in it because I don't care. I worry about myself, and I worry about people that are doing their next right thing. There are so many people I still love just over there. That's all. Still love you. I just need you to go over there because you just don't align properly with me. And that's not a personal thing. It's my choice. But I don't align. This is one of those, am I going to sound mean? But I'm not. I have a very, very small circle of friends. A very, very, very small circle of friends. I don't engage with multiple practitioners. Honestly, I don't engage with very many practitioners. I do this because I have learned a lot in my time, and what I don't do is I don't surround myself with people who stay stuck in limiting beliefs, people who stay stuck in their trauma, people who think gossiping about people is funny, or people who try to weaponize other people against other people. There's just so many things I don't partake of anymore. And another thing that I've really started to deconstruct is people who centralize certain people. And if that's going to be a detriment to me, I just can't have you in it. I don't know how else to say it. So that's why there's a lot of people I have a lot of love for, but I'll probably never talk to you again. And it's just because I know you're never going to pull your head out of your ass. And while I can see your potential, you refuse to acknowledge it. And I wasted so many time in so many relationships because of that. I'll never forget the last relationship I was in. I would always tell him, I'll believe in you until you believe in yourself. That will never fucking happen. I'm telling you. I could have been the cheerleader with pom-poms. I could have been. If that person ain't ready to do something about their life, they won't. And you can see the potential in somebody, but they'll never see it for themselves. And so that's why sometimes the greatest form of love is leaving people where they're at. Otherwise, you're going to make yourself small for the rest of your life. And that's not a cool place to be, I don't ever want to do that. Tim, I get it. I get that, Claire. It's very, very small. And it's intentional. I tell my dog all the time, you're my best friend. I hope you know that. It's quality over quantity. And the other thing is, I notice people who have a lot of friends, they talk shit about all their friends. They pick and choose who they are in the friend group that they're in. So they're a chameleon, right? So I can't tell you how many people have talked about me behind my back and they think I don't know. And then they come to me trying to be my friend, and it's I know what you said last summer. Or I know that you were just talking shit about me over here. And while you're allowed to have your feelings and whatever, please don't play in my face. I used to have that in jobs with coworkers and stuff all the time. Jen, I think everyone knows what I mean. Especially, sorry, I'm about to be gender for a minute, but girls are mean, dude. Girls are really mean. And while guys can be ruthless, girls they're rough. I gotta tell you, I've had more women hurt my feelings than men. And it's because a lot of us share the same like trauma and feelings and stuff. And so you know how to hurt somebody because you are experiencing that hurt. So it just gets projected out, right? Yikes, dude. So, and I also need to tell you this because, and some of you know, right, if you're someone who hangs out in the Patreon, but my first bully was my own mom. The first person to ever knock me upside the head was my own mom. So when I tell you that like women are ruthless, I mean it. Like the first person to ever like hurt me was not a man. The first Jen. The first person to ever make me feel bad about my body was not a man. It was my mom. And I know a lot of people share in that experience. And like, I very vividly remember the first time she made me feel bad about my body, and my dad stood up for me, which was super weird. And part of me wonders if he only did it to spite her sometimes, but I'll never forget, I was like little. I was, I don't know, 6 or 7, and my dad was mowing the lawn and I was outside playing, and I had a sports bra, like a sports bra top. Honestly, like this, how it like is a crop here, in a pair of shorts on, and my mom came outside and ripped my dad a new asshole about what I was wearing and why don't I have any clothes on and blah, 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 blah. And she even told me I was too fat to wear it. Told me I was too chubby to be in that. I was like 6, dude. So this is why I tell you guys, like, a lot of the things that happen in our life we bury and we subconsciously stuff it. And then we're like, oh, it doesn't affect me. It does. It's just that you don't think about it or acknowledge it. So it just like hangs out down there. Probably gives you IBS. It's probably giving you an autoimmune disease. It physically will manifest if it's not dealt with. That's my firm belief in the subject. Amanda, thanks for being patient with me. I hope you are having a fabulous day. Let me pull your oracle card. I would also like to remind you too, of everybody, that there are 2 days left to get alignment audits. Alignment audits are a reading I do that look like this. I tell you what is in your energy, what your spirit guides would like you to know, and then I create a ritual for you to do to incorporate all of those things. They're 33 doll hairs. Whatever time you book them for is the time that they appear in your email, and you're also entered into a waffle to win your soul design. Claire, thanks for the money gun, my friend. I think you're beautiful. Please don't doubt yourself, my friend, truthfully. And Claire, I want to tell you this too. If next time you go live, you want to start disconnecting through everybody, you just take charge of that room, bitch, and like, you don't rush me. I'm gonna pull my cards as I pull them. Don't let them rush you though, because people will try to come into your live, and they'll try to rush you, they'll try to push you around. Don't. If they were there for the right reasons, I promise they'll wait. I promise. All right, let's see. What do I have? That came out quick. Amanda, this is the air dragon. Help you rise above earthly matters. Communicate honestly. Bring inspiration and hope. See life from a higher perspective. Hey, Claire, can I ask you a question? Did I do your soul design? Because I gotta tell you, in a lot of the soul designs that I've done, one of the biggest things I noticed, especially in some of the women, was to take an assertiveness course, which I thought was funny. I just don't remember if I had or not. Okay, let's see. Air Dragon suggests you take things lightly, so choosing this card indicates you should relax and look at part of your life from a higher perspective. Air Dragons also inspire you to communicate honestly but lovingly in a way that calms and soothes everyone around you and promotes good outcomes. Honestly, Communication will bring pure white light into your aura, and when this happens, everybody will trust and respect you. Blue air dragons are supporting you as you rise above your challenges. They'll help you to say the most tactful or inspirational words and assist you to stand in your power with integrity. Breathe blue and white light into your heart center, and as an air dragon appears in front of you, breathe the light over it. In this way, you're energizing and motivating it so that it will always be connected to you. That was a good one. Thanks for the roses. Amanda, that was fabulous. AR, thanks for the heart, my friend. Thank you for the roses, Claire. YouTheBomb.com. Hi, AR. Let me pull your oracle card. Let's see what I got. Hello, sir. All right, let's see. What do I got for AR today? The Lilac Fire Dragon transmutes through the power of divine love. Open up to transcendent love and enlightenment. Purity of heart brings peace, hope, joy, and happiness. Let's see. Also, if you're someone who's never done the Violet Flame Healing, it's in the Patreon. When you choose this card, a Lilac Fire Dragon will touch you with the incredible ninth dimensional light. So call it in and ask it to touch you. As it approaches you, breathe in divine love and sense the lilac fire enveloping you. This will enable you to let go of the old easily, calmly, and graciously. Notice particularly how you feel when the dragon touches you and sense the purity of love that radiates. Ask this dragon to remain with you to anchor the glorious light of the lilac fire and take you into a new and illumined way of being. When you do this, the love radiating from your heart will become purer and more beautiful, and people will sense this and respond with trust, respect, and gratitude. AR, that was fabulous. Thanks for letting me pull it for you. So yes, don't forget, if you are someone who is interested in your soul design, if you grab an alignment audit, they're $33 hairs, you're entered into a waffle to win your soul design. And the alignment audits look like this. I tell you up here what's in your energy, what your guides want you to know, and then a ritual for you to do to incorporate all of that stuff. And if you're someone who wants to see what the soul designs look like, I'd be happy to show you that too. Girl, it's okay. It's been a weird day. Dinky tagged herself. She said hello to herself the other day. It cracked me the fuck up. It just said, Dinky, hi, from Dinky. I was like, oh, hi, Dinky. Is there anybody else who's been waiting on an oracle card who hasn't have one? I would be more than happy to pull one for you. I do, ma'am. It's up in the bio. It's up in my bio. And then don't forget, there is a live guided meditation in the Patreon on Saturday, and the new podcast comes out tomorrow. And then don't forget too, I'm going to keep talking about it because alignment audits are only available for 2 more days, and then they will not return until December. So this is like the perfect time to get a vibe check and a spirit guide reading and your own exercise all in one for $33 hayas. Sometimes the podcast stresses me out, and then some days I have so much fun doing it. So I think this is going to be a good one because we're going to talk about a lot of things. I have a lot of topics to cover this week around morals and ethics and deconstructing some stuff, and especially people's self-worth around what they're planning on doing with their business and their life and all these things, and kind of how to start gradually taking your power back, especially if you're someone who... Time to be a candle. Thank you, my friend. YouTheBomb.com. I appreciate you. I hope you have a fabulous day. We're also probably going to talk some more about it in the soul design live stream this month too. It's going to be great, Jen. It's going to be great. Because a lot of the times, people struggle with, like, they go to trust their intuition and they follow their passion, and then they go, well, there's no money. Why am I struggling to get clients? And I also did this, and I had to realize, like, I'm shutting down the receiving end of things. I'm not receptive in love. I'm not receptive in help. And I had to realize that my nervous system wasn't prepared to hold money. Okay. I'm going to give you a prime example of now when I look back, I can tell you why. Okay. So let me give you a story time. Okay, this was the biggest, as I look back on my life, this was like my biggest red flag that my nervous system and money don't get along. So if you know anything about me, you know that I'm a survivor of human trafficking, which means that people have paid me money for some things that I didn't want to do. So I had a problem with money around that. Okay, because to me, money was like dirty and I didn't like it and I wanted no part of it. So I went and did some trauma therapy around all that stuff, and I was able to heal some of that. But I still have some lingering things. So the last corporate job I had, I checked my bank account like 2 days before payday, and there was $5,000 in there. And I was like, excuse me, that is not mine. What the fuck is that doing in it? So it was like 8:30 at night. I called my boss. I said, excuse me? Why did somebody deposit like $5,000 in my bank account? Like, what is this? And my boss was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll have to figure that out, whatever. So then the next day they tell me, oh, it was an accident. We fucked up. Thank you for telling us, first off, blah, 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 blah. But then, okay, I was having a stroke because they told me to just hold the money and it will just magically pull itself out. And I said, no, I don't like that. This is not my money. I do not want it. I don't want it in there. I don't. I just kept having these dreams of like, what if it just magically disappears and now I'm on the hook for it when it shouldn't have even been in there in the first place. I even went to my bank and I said, excuse me, what? Get it out. Like, out. She said, the only thing you can do, she goes, is you can like, she goes, I can withdraw the money and you can go hand it to them in cash. And I was like, they're not going to allow me to do that. She goes, well, then you're just going to have to wait for it to pull out. And I said, I don't know how this is my fault. So like, I felt that I couldn't use my money, right? Until that was gone, because what if something happened, or what if too much came out? And that was my nervous system going, huh, can't take that. That's not mine. No, I don't need that. Huh, danger, danger, danger. And you know why? Because every time I had a large sum of money, someone tried to take it. Someone tried to tell me I wasn't worthy of it. They tried to steal it. So when someone just put this money in by accident that wasn't mine, I freaked out. And nobody could understand why I was freaking out so bad except my therapist. My therapist was able to help me understand that I was in overload, because that's danger to me. Holding on to someone else's money that I don't feel that I'm owed, that was like, oh, this is how you get yourself hurt, right? So as I started opening this business, like we just talked about, I didn't charge anything in the beginning because I didn't think it was worth it. Then I started charging, but it was like cheap. Like I was doing like mediumship for $20 or something. It was not good. Then as I upped my prices, I had to up my self-worth and know that like the right people will pay it, and that if there are people who are upset with it, they're just not the clients that I'm looking for, and that's okay. And so I had to understand that my brand is what I'm looking to attract. And I did it wrong. Like when I first started this business, I came out and said, hi, I talk to dead people. That is literally the last, like I do that, but it's like not the main thing. The main thing is look at all these things that I can do to help you learn about yourself so that you can then use them and take them to make them your own. That's really what I'm here to do. So in the beginning, I just attracted a bunch of people who wanted to watch me do mediumship, which is great. Like sometimes I have fun with it, but I think a lot of people use mediumship as an avoidance to their problems. Like there are so many people who they go to the same, like they talk to the same dead people all the time. They cycle through readers to just keep talking to the same person. And at what time are we gonna look at the grief part of that and work through it? And I've had to have that conversation with some clients, and that is also why you'll notice that mediumship is the most expensive thing I have. Because if that's really what you want to do, then the energy exchange has to be there. What it isn't going to be is you're not just going to book with me just so we can call up like I'm an operator on a phone line. That is not helpful to anybody. So my goal in life is to help you, right? If you're someone who's listened to me talk about soul contracts, that's my whole soul contract, is to reflect shit back to people so they can learn about themselves. That's why people don't like me, because I just mirror things back. Right? And then you have to look at it and digest it. And eventually you'll go, oh my God, it wasn't Molly the whole time. It was actually me. And it's okay. I learned a lot, well, not a long time ago, but within the last year, I've learned how not to put stuff, accept stuff from other people. Jen Marie, I love you. You my best friend. You guys are all my BFFs, I hope you know, in the spiritual realm. So all of you have kind of made this place really what it is. There are so many of you who have just stuck to it, and you've grown and you've changed. And I told you this yesterday in Patreon, a lot of you, but there were so many people in the beginning who were like, Molly, I can never do that. I couldn't do mediumship. I couldn't do this. Look it. There are so many people who have gone off and started doing their own stuff. They're helping each other. They're helping other people. It's fucking great. It really is. That's what my goal is. As Dinky always reminds me, I'm here to help you bridge the gap. It's not for me to bring you there. I'm here to help you bridge the gap. And sometimes once the gap is bridged, people fly off into Never Never Land and you never see them again, and that's okay. But that's my whole goal, is like, I'm the lady that helps you cross the River Styx Bridge, you know? So, I would like to remind you that if you're someone who's looking for energy work, if you're looking for, to learn these things, all of the classes that I have are on the Patreon. The other thing I was going to do is Ether 101 and 102 are in written format on Patreon. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a live Ether 101 because I haven't done one in a long time. And we'll record it. And that way we'll be able to pop it up there. So if you're someone who has wanted to take a live Ether 101, it will be there. I don't really have any. This is last night's water. The ice melted. Not very good. Tim, thanks for the heart me. So the other thing I want to tell you too is if you're someone who wants to start talking to spirit, understanding how you receive messages from spirit, you're fine. I have a Mediumship 101 class, and I also have a guided meditation to help you build your treehouse, which is a way for you to build a safe space to do all of these things. Because there's a lot more that goes into talking to dead people than people realize. But what I will tell you is this, and this is my own personal opinion. You do not need to take a $3,000 course to be certified as a medium. You do not need to get a certification as a medium. I don't even know where that will be certified from. The dead people don't give out certifications. What I will tell you is that putting the time and effort into learning yourself and learning respect and intention for the dead is one of the best ways to start doing it. There are a lot of people who want to talk to dead people for the wrong reasons. They want to talk to dead people because they want the money for mediumship. They think that dead people will give them, all the answers to certain things. And while they can be helpful, you have to understand that not all of the information is useful, okay? I've said this multiple times. My dad's mother, okay, my grandmother, came to me a month before my father passed and told me he was going to pass. She told me how he was going to pass. There was nothing, not a single goddamn thing that I could have done. Nothing. And I knew a month in advance. There was nothing I could do. So I get protective of dead people a lot because it's not just something we go up there and do for fun. There's respect and intention in it. And if you are going to be working with the dead, you are going to have to deal with their issues. And sometimes that means you're a death doula. It also sometimes means that you have to help them cross because they also have unfinished business. And if you are someone who is a moth to a flame, as I call it, and there are some people that just are, you will attract those who need help. And if you're not ready to help them, it can be scary. And it can also, be jarring. I've had a lot of experiences, and I try to share them as much as possible, whether people like them or not. But I've had a lot of unprocessed spirits come to me for help. I had a nun come to me once. I think I've talked about that. I didn't realize that she was hanging around. So what I'll tell you is this. I lived in an apartment by myself. I'm not a religious person. Yes, I did go to Catholic school, but I've deconstructed a lot of that. I've undone my baptism. I've done a lot of things. So all of a sudden I was walking around my apartment one day and I just kept getting these hymns. Like I was singing hymns in my head. And I was like, this is not me. So like, where does this keep coming from? And then the next night I was on live stream. We were doing mediumship. I had just shut the live stream off. Jack walked into my bedroom and started barking his head off. I mean, like he was pissed. And so I was like, dude, what is wrong? It was like 11 o'clock at night. And I, as I go to walk in the bedroom, cause he wouldn't stop barking, this like big black shadow comes from my bedroom right past my feet and just like takes off because Jack scared it out of the bedroom. And I just remember looking at it and like watching it go by. And I was just like, I don't have time for this right now. And I just like, sealed off my room and went to bed. When I finally sat with it for a while and I was able to look at her in my treehouse, she was a nun. She was a nun who had passed and she was struggling to cross because of some trauma she experienced, right? And also one of the hard parts is religion lies to people about what to expect. And so we sometimes get bound by some of that earthly shit. And some people think that they're going to go to hell. And so there is some stuff to unpack around that. I'm not going to tell you that your belief is right or wrong. I can just tell you what I've experienced in working with the dead. And I've never seen hell in the way it's described in a book. So that's all I'm going to say there. Tem, thanks for the mermaid. Tem, do you want an oracle card? So if you want to start doing mediumship, if you want to start learning, energy work, check out the Patreon. There's over 10 classes in there. And we do guided meditations as well. Jessica, thank you, my friend. Eyes are the window to the soul. You can tell a lot about people by their eyeballs. That's why there are sometimes, people have tried to have conversations with me and I'm like, unless I can look you in the eye, we're not having this conversation. Let's see. What do I got? Oh. Tem, this is the deep blue dragon. Keeps you safe by clearing your pathway. Trust that you are protected and walk on a path of light. Welcome back, Claire. Let's see. This card is suggesting that you call on the deep blue dragons to protect you or your loved ones. Visualize a protecting army of deep blue dragons gliding in front of you wherever you walk or drive. Let them precede you into your home or office and ask them to dive into the ground below your house to consume all lower energies. Ask them to keep an area of 1 kilometer around you totally clear and relax and trust that this is happening. Because the deep blue dragons are transmuting the lower emotions of those in your vicinity, you're no longer moving through the dense energies of other people. Notice how much lighter and happier you feel. Tim, that was a good one. So, I would also like to remind you, there are 2 days left to get alignment audits. If you are someone who's been curious about what's in your energy, what your spirit guides want you to know, and how to incorporate that stuff, alignment audits are available for 2 more days. They're $33 hairs. Whatever time you book them for is the time that they appear in your email inbox. If you are someone who grabs an alignment audit, you're also entered into a waffle to win your soul design report. Oh, there's something in my eyeball. Oh. So I would also like to let you know, tomorrow is the new podcast episode. And then Saturday is a live guided meditation. I'm just going to tell you what it is. I don't talk about this stuff very often on TikTok, but I talk about it on Patreon. The live meditation is going to involve the dragon realm on Saturday. If you are someone who has never done a galactic guided meditation, it is fine. I do a galactic attunement in the beginning just in case. So we're going to the dragon realm. We're doing some ascension stuff and some light code stuff. It's a little more energy based than some of the other ones. If you've ever done a galactic meditation with me, they have more oomph. Is the best way I can say that. So that is the meditation that we are doing. So if you have gone to the Dragon Realm with me before, this one is going to be slightly different. It's going to be more, the easiest way I can explain it to you is, imagine you're going to upgrade yourself. That's like the best way I can describe it. Patreon is another platform that I utilize, where I have a lot of my classes, meditations, energy work. There's a lot of things on demand. It's also a place where we're not filtered, so we can talk about whatever. You guys are allowed to comment as long as you want, whatever you want. It's just a place for us to learn. On TikTok, I usually just talk and do readings. Over there is really where all the teaching and growing and shadow work stuff really happens. Does anyone have questions, or is someone waiting for an oracle card that I have not pulled yet? And then don't forget, 2 more days for alignment audits. 2 more days. I gotta stretch. I gotta do some stretching. All right, well then, you know what? Want to do a past life read? Tem, if you go up to my face up here, if you click my face, if you go to the beacon in my profile, hi Courtney. If you go to the beacon in my profile, the Patreon is there, and you'll just click the link. Please, I want to remind you guys, the App Store upcharges things in Patreon. So if you go to Patreon through the web browser, Ember's $20 a month. If you go to Patreon through the web browser, the classes are only $22. So I just want to remind you of that. The App Store adds an upcharge fee to it. Ken, do you want to do a past life read? It's so fun. And that pendulum class was fun too. We did a pendulum class this past weekend on the Patreon. So if you are someone who wants to know how to utilize your pendulum specifically around like energy work and general basics, check it out. Yeah, Claire, the other thing I'll tell you too is don't let people tell you what to do. I've had plenty of practitioners tell me that things that I do are impossible while I do them. So, don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it is. Because especially one of the biggest things that people argue with me is they're like, you can't see through people's third eye. Want to bet? Hold on. Give me 1 second. I will show you how to do it. It's not remote viewing. It's energy walking. And people really struggle with that. They're like, you can't do that. I can. And it's not impossible. I promise. I promise. Do. Here, we're going to shut this off because it's not doing anything anyway. Do. Okay, let's see. Okay. But people are, and that's why just let them, that's why I always say, spiritual practitioners to each their own. That's why you'll never find me talking smack about someone or like discrediting what someone does, because to each their own. There are just times where I do things my way. That's all. As you should do yours. Okay. Ken, can I come visit? your throat. Are you hungry? Hi Demi. Hi Jay. So before I jump into this next part, I'm just gonna tell you, your throat has a big bubble in it. Also, I think your receiving side's a little shut off. So it might be worth it to look at trying to recenter some of it. I think the receiving thing's linked to your belly. So let's see. I can't, so when I first tried to click into here, I feel like I just got like, this is the weirdest. I don't know how to describe this. It's like I got bopped by a bird. It was like a bird flew and like wings out, and I just got like belly. The other thing that was like, it was blue. Like I had to ask if it was a blue jay. It was really weird. And so, then I felt like I got kicked out, so I went back. And so I'm standing on a dirt road. I don't know how else to say that. Like, it's a dirt road. And there's like, I don't know. It's not regular dirt. This is the weirdest. It's like sand colored dirt, like light. Maybe it's sand. It looks like dirt. And so the woods are high on one side, and then like it dips down, and there's like this big, not really, like a body of water. It's not huge, but there's like this body of water like down. And so then the next thing I saw was a green and pink hummingbird that like flew up again. And so I asked, and I was told this is an indigenous lifetime, but I'm just trying to go further down the road so I can actually see. Can I think you are a woman in this lifetime? This isn't a very old lifetime, because I get the impression that this is okay. I asked if this was the 1800s, and I was like specifically shown 1860s. So okay, I'm just going to tell you there's a power and control soul cycle here. And I strictly think it has to do with your community going through, I'm just going to say it, like colonization. It just looks like I'm looking at your community as like things are growing around them while they're still trying to remain like in their space. The other thing that's really prevalent to me is that your hair is really, really long, and it's jet black. there's bead colors that you have. It's kind of like a beaded armband. It's like white, baby blue, and yellow. Here's the other thing. I think this is really interesting. As I am looking at this further, so there's a lot of oppression in this lifetime. One of the other things it links to is suppression over your truth and like communicating. And so it's not like anything, like you grew up in this community, you stayed a part of this community. It doesn't look like you ever had kids. It looks like you had a partner who died earlier than you, and then you just kind of became like one of the elders in this community as like life just changed around. And so it suppressed you feeling that you could communicate your truth because there's fear around that, right? You can only stand up and advocate for yourself so much or they're just going to wipe you off the face of the earth. So you have to be quiet in your expression and in your tradition and in your values, especially because at this time they were seen as like not good, you know? I also get the impression that the person you were partnered with died from a sickness that was like carried in through these interactions with these people. And I think the reason that this road is so significant is because this is like where the encroaching started. Like this was like the first thing, because when I first got in here, it was just a group of you just like staring at the road in like awe that it showed up there. And it's not like it's not like a very... This isn't a road made with bulldozers. That's all I can say, but it's a road. I'm going to be honest, Ken, I think that you definitely, and I feel like this is something I brought up before because it feels familiar, but I really think a lot of your soul cycles that you are cycling through is there's some where you are in a position of power, in a position of leadership, and then it flip-flops. And it's just how your soul is learning the aspect of it in general. So I feel the need to tell you to be cognizant, maybe more so, of the power your voice and your truth share with the world. Because I think that has something to do with this permanent throat block. The other thing is, obviously nature was really important to you, but you did spend a ton of time alone, and hummingbirds keep popping up. You did spend a lot of time alone, but a lot of time in nature. The other thing too is, this is, I don't know. It's like, it's not the plains, but it's definitely like a North American type of indigenous. Okay, the last thing I'm going to say before I get out of here as far as soul cycles go is, I think there's something to be remembered for your solar gateway from this timeline. So if you ever felt curious about it, it would be worth it to ask them to show you this and to what you're supposed to remember from it. Because I think you did a lot with herbalism, but there's something about your truth here that is for you to explore. Because I think there are times where you don't share it because of the way you think it will affect others, but I think you always think it will negatively affect others versus positively, and that's what stops you. So there's something to it. There's definitely a big soul cycle. I think we confirmed it with your soul contract thing, but around that and being able to express and share your truth. So hold on. That's why I also, if you're someone who's new to whenever I say soul cycles, it's like, it's the same thing with soul contracts. Hi, Iffy. Bum, bum, bum. Thanks for the roses, girlfriend. Okay. Hold on. Let me just clear out of here. Iffy, do you want to do that thing and see what what the message may be, you are very welcome. Thank you for letting me do it. If you're someone who ever wants to do past lives, we do past lives all the time. I usually open 6 spots a day. It's 22. If you're someone who wants me to go more in depth, I have past life snapshots that are reports that are available, or there's more in-depth readings too. Ruthless, thanks for the follow. Okay. Iffy, can I come over there for a second? Ruthless, I love you too, my friend. You're always welcome. Iffy, can I ask you something? Please don't be mad at me. There's no shame or judgment or anything, and I'm just asking from what I can see. Are you someone who holds on to like anger? I'm not calling you an angry person, but do you hold it? Do you know what I mean by that? Iffy. Okay. Iffy, was this grandmother somebody who was a religious person? You're fine, Demi. Okay, if I said to you that this is the second time she showed me some kind of gold necklace that has what looks like Mary on it, does that make any sense? It looks like a picture of Mary. Okay, do you know if she passed from a heart condition? Had a heart problem? Okay. Iffy, is it okay if I just tell you the message that she tried to convey last time? I also am supposed to tell you that there is an understanding that you don't want her in your energy field, and she's going to continue to do that, but she's only doing this because I've specifically asked her for this information. So I just want you to know, A, you don't have to worry about her coming back, but the message is around resentment. So I'm just gonna tell you, I have to tell you guys something. Whenever I do mediumship, this happens way more than people think it does. Okay, so when people pass, they go into the spirit realm and they have to do their life review, okay? Which means they look back at everything that happened in their life through the lens of the people who survived it. And there are different levels and lessons to understanding that come through that. It's one of the reasons when someone just dies, I tell people to give them some time to be dead. You don't need me to go knock on their door while they're just getting adjusted. Anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Anger is also like getting bit by a snake and then chasing the snake around to get it to explain to you why it bit you. The anger that we carry in our body will physically manifest as problems with our liver, as autoimmune diseases, it will physically manifest and we will hold it and trap it. Forgiveness isn't for the other person. Forgiveness isn't for the people who have wronged us. Forgiveness is for ourselves. We forgive other people so that we can let it go and learn from the lesson. The reason that she would like me to convey to you is this. If you continue to live your life keeping people at an arm's length, you're going to miss out on a lot of things. And if you hold on to the anger of things that other people have done to you and bring it into future situations, the pattern will continue. Does that make sense? Okay. Are you someone who writes or journals? One of the hardest parts of being a spiritual being, having a human experience, is that we're taught that our human emotions are not worthy and they're not valid, and that there's something to be ashamed of. We're taught that we're supposed to be ashamed of anger. We're supposed to be full of guilt and all these things, and we're not. While they are things that we experience, they are ways that we get trapped in the illusion of those things. So to be able to process iffy, like to get some of that out, you have to create a safe place for you to experience those and get them out. If you struggle with trusting people with your emotions, and you also struggle with being honest with yourself, the reason that that keeps coming up is because in a journal, it's just you. You don't have to worry about judgment. You don't have to worry about anybody, doing or reading it or whatever, and it's a safe place for you. But in order to start getting that sense of safety and understanding back, you have to build it for yourself before you build it with somebody else or let someone else. Does that make sense? Okay. Ify, can I ask you another question? Are you someone who like keeps yourself busy all the time? Okay, so one of the things, Ify, that I'm gonna say before I cut out of here is this. I'm gonna challenge you, okay? I'm gonna challenge you to start taking some time for yourself. Whether you take the time to journal for 5 minutes, whether you take the time, Ify, to ground for 5 minutes, whether you take the time to go for a 5-minute walk, I want to challenge you to slow down and be present in your body, because the only way that you're going to be able to process and deal with these things is if you give them the space to come to light. Does that make sense? I also want to tell you one more thing, that the more we stuff, the bigger the ball becomes, and I don't want anybody to be 70 looking at the ball that they've created and now they're overwhelmed with how to break it apart. The more we stuff things and the more we don't deal with them, the bigger it becomes. It also is usually where everyone tells me that their thoughts are always running, and it's because they're trying to tell you something and you just keep telling them to fuck off. They need to be acknowledged. You need to bring them to be present, to sit with them, to acknowledge them. Don't stick with them, don't ruminate in them, but you have to acknowledge them and let them flow. I'm sending you like the biggest energetic hug that I can send to you over there, my friend. I can ask her, what's your question? I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to tell you what. Let me just tell you what her response to me is. It looks like there was quite a lot of dysfunction within the family that got passed down and passed down and passed down. It also looks like maybe very recently people are starting to break the cycle of that. Does that make sense? I'm also supposed to tell you your father is responsible for his own actions. Does that make sense? We all have an option to be responsible for ourselves and our actions, is what I've been told twice. So that is the message that I am passing along, where things may happen, but ultimately we are responsible for ourselves. So that is what she's getting across to me. Iffy, I just want to, before I let her go, I just want to let you know that hold on, let me find out what to say this 1 second. Sometimes we get so caught up in other people's things that we have a hard time looking at our self-worth and worrying about ourselves. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm sending you a big hug, Iffy. A big, 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 big hug. Thank you for letting me in your energy. It's always an honor and a privilege, truthfully. Let me, 1 second. Okay. I also, Iffy, I feel the need to tell you too that I think you're someone who's more energetically sensitive than you give yourself credit for. And I think that if you wanted to connect with some of your guides, they would be more than willing to. I do have that free meditation to meet your guides. Oh, goodness gracious. If that's something you want to do, it's on the YouTube. It's also in the Patreon. Where is my Just J person? Because I do not want to forget you. I saw you sent the pretty Rosa thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Kat. Just thank you for that. Thanks for the follow. Thank you, Iffy. YouTheBomb.com. This is your friendly reminder that there are 2 days left to get your alignment audit. If you are someone who has been interested in that, there are 2 days left to grab it. It tells you what is in your energy, what your spirit guides would like you to know. And then I put together a ritual for you to do to incorporate those things. You're also entered into a waffle to win your soul design. So there is that. New podcast episode tomorrow, live meditation on Saturday. Is there anyone who's been waiting for an oracle card who hasn't had one yet? Hi, Beth, my friend. You got it. Okay. Let's see. Welcome back, Claire. Hi, soul. All right. What do I have for Beth today? Hello. This is the Dark Blue Galactic Dragon helps you listen to the voice of the universe, ignite the codes of your master blueprint, and access cosmic wisdom and enter higher planetary service. Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. The soul journey has taken you to the stars and beyond. The dark blue galactic dragons now invite you to communicate with the masters of the universe, the intergalactic council where you can contribute your energy for the smooth ascension of the planet. It is time to listen and serve. Ask the wondrous dragon who has come to you to tune into the intergalactic council where you'll be offered the honor of petitioning them. Decide whether your petition is for the welfare of animals or humanity or to assist the ascension of the planet, and then ask the dragon to take you to the council to present your petition. Oh, that was a good one. All right, let's see. I'm going to Demi, and then I'm going to Nikki. Let's see. What do I got? Oh my goodness, Demi. That jumped. Demi, this is the Alpha Dragon. Harness the divine masculine power of creation as I drop it. Destroy the old, visualize your dream, and help to manifest a new world. Let's see. Alpha Dragons are bringing you a very special message. You're being called to demonstrate creative forces in your current project or experience, so ask these magnificent beings to assist you and know that their masculine energy will empower and strengthen you as you visualize what you want to build. You can also ask these dragons to support you in constructing our new 5th dimensional world. That was a good one. Oh, Claire. Okay, let's see. Debbie, that was fabulous. All right, I'm going to Nikki, and then I'm going to Just. Ooh. Nikki, this is the Water Dragon. Helps you flow easily around obstacles. Christ-light and love are flowing. Develop your psychic abilities and go with the flow. All right, let me see. I gotta find it. This message is the elemental water dragons are bringing you as to flow around your challenges with loving intent. If you ask them, they will help you look for an easy way to circumnavigate your challenges and to deal with people lovingly. To enable this to happen, they'll help you to develop your intuition and psychic abilities by touching your third eye and allowing the petals of your psychic center to open. When you listen to your inner wisdom and trust that the water dragons will guide you, the course of your life will run more smoothly. Ask them to cleanse the cells of your body, for this will enable you to shine your light even more brightly. Your guidance is to relax so that they can access your energy fields and pour the golden Christ light of pure unconditional love into them. Consciously absorb this, and then it will go with the flow. So bring you love, wisdom, and healing, and enable you to travel effortlessly on your ascension path. That was fab. Yes, Claire, it did. I'm going to finish pulling these oracle cards and then we're going to do your reading. If you are someone who would like a past life reading, I have a couple spots left. They're 22 doll hairs. Also, alignment audits are available for 2 more days. If you were someone who would like to get one, the link for them is in the bio. Whatever time you book it for is around the time that it winds up in your email. All right, let's see what I got for Just. Hello. Left or right, my friend? Left or right? Nikki, thanks for the heart me, my friend. This is the Rose Pink Dragon. Prepares your heart to connect with the higher facets of the cosmic heart. Open your heart to warm-hearted love and diamond light and connect with the love of the universe. Iffy, thanks for the roses, my friend. You're the bomb. Hi, Dragon Eye. All right, let's see. Receiving this card suggests that your higher heart is ready to connect to the cosmic heart. Ask the rose pink dragons to touch your heart center and sense its awakening and expanding. When the 4 central petals open, they sparkle with diamond light, and they contain the higher facets of love energy of the universe. Be aware of them lighting up so that all 33 facets of your heart center are active. You may see or sense a shaft of rose pink light flowing from your heart right up to your cosmic heart, which opens wide to you. That was a good one, Just. All right, I'm going to do souls, and then Claire, I'm coming to you for your reading. All right, what do I have for soul today? Soul, this is the Golden Orange Dragon. Expands your light for ascension. Be a peaceful warrior, help those in need, and remember your magnificence. Let's see. This card connects you with the illuminated Archangel Metatron, as well as his powerfully ascended dragons. You're on an ascension path, and golden orange dragons are pouring high-frequency light into your aura to attract the attention of the masters, angels, and unicorns who are guiding you. 44. Drawing this card suggests it's time for a push forward on your ascension path. Do you need to meditate more, or examine and release old stuff, or embrace who you truly are and recognize your magnificence? Tell the dragons what you need in order to take the next step on your journey into the higher frequencies, and they'll help you. Call on them for support, and they'll provide it. They are wonderful companions and friends. So that was fabulous. Okay, don't forget, 2 days left to grab your alignment audits. They're $33 hairs. The link for them is in the bio. Whatever time you book it for is the time it appears in your inbox. Claire, can I come visit? You're welcome. Good thing I had a breakfast sandwich today. I was prepared. Okay, let's see. This is also an Indigenous lifetime, but it's different. Hold on. Okay, the first thing I'm going to tell you when I first come in here, the man that I'm looking at has, his face is painted white, but then he has certain areas that are painted in black, and then outlined by the white. The other thing that I feel the need to tell you is he has on a wooden mask. It reminds me of the Easter Island heads. If you pull his mask down, he would look just like one. There's like, so I'm standing, he's over here. I gotta tell you, I think you're a woman in this lifetime, because who I'm looking at and locking eyes with is a woman who's next to him. One thing I want to tell you is your eyes are like this bright, bright blue. The other thing that's prominent is you have some kind of cuff on your left ankle. And it's like a turquoise. Is that what? There's a certain gem that looks like this. I would have to, it's like a lighter leather, but then it has like this, but it's like turquoise and black, like whatever the stone is. So we're on an island, I'm pretty sure, because we're like we're high up, and so what it looks like is like it's God, it like kind of is like a little bit of a shoe, and it looks like the community hangs like on the outskirts, and because the mountains are what's up behind. The other thing that I feel the need to say is that your community is really linked in to the elements. I also get the impression that your partner, who is the guy I'm looking at, and he is one of like the, I'm told, a chief in here. So as I'm following like the line here, there's a couple things I want to say. One, this was a really spiritual lifetime for you. You used to, it looks like you were someone who actively channeled. And what I mean by that is I'm able to see like, it looks like they have this kind of, it's like a hut is the best way I can say it, but it's where all of like their spiritual things happen. And I just see you like, I don't know, you're sitting on like this cushion that in like the center of the room. Your eyes are, I know exactly what they're doing. The energy is going through your body because your eyes are back. But the way you're sitting, you're actively channeling. And it gives me the impression that you were like what your community would have said as like the oracle. And it kind of also gives me like power couple, but not out of choice. Like I feel like this is something out of obligation. Like this partnership is an arranged partnership. I say that because there's a power and control cycle that hits with it. And there's just some like, how do I say this kindly? There's just some power and control stuff with like the men of the village versus the women and the way they view things. I just asked if you had kids in this timeline, and it looks like there is some soul cycle around some fertility things. And I get the impression that through certain lifetimes, it is hard for you to conceive through stuff from past lives, and then other times it may not be. The other thing I want to say to Claire is I wouldn't be surprised if you're someone who feels like a real deep connection to water. And I'm going to be even more weird. Not ocean water, but like lake, pond, stream, river, creek water. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it just feels different for you. The other thing I want to say too is, if you're not someone who is like into herbalism, it might be worth it to look into it, because you did a lot with like the natural things on this island with your community. There was a whole lot that you did in like tinctures and just things that you made. Also, there was something about, there's really like these beautiful flowers. They kind of look like birds of paradise, but not quite. That's a really big thing that looks like it grows on this island. Other thing I'm going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if you were someone who feels a stronger connection to the moon than the sun. And I also wouldn't be surprised if you're a silver or a gold person. And it's the connection here within this community to like the moon and was more prevalent, especially for you as like the feminine channel. I think if I went further down this timeline, the switch would eventually happen. But like in this timeline, you were someone who is very moon centered. Also, this is so strange, but you just had like little feet. Like you're a full grown person, but like you just had small feet. Like they're just little. Also, I get the impression that you were the only woman in your family in this timeline. So, I asked if you've ever seen this timeline too, and there's, they showed me this very specific image of being up on like one of the ridges looking down on the community at nighttime, and like the sky's covered with stars and the moon is up, and you're like looking down on the village. I wouldn't be shocked if you had a dream like that. The other thing too is, I actually wouldn't be surprised if you had a dream through the eyes of this lifetime, like actively living it. There's a lot that you could learn from this lifetime, and it also tells me that you're more active as a channel than you give yourself credit for. All right, I'm gonna just give me 1 second. I also can see it too. So what I would do is I would, Claire, it might be worth it to sit and ask them to help you remember from this lifetime about that working channel. Okay. Ask and you shall receive. Let me ask you a question. Do you channel? Have you tried to channel? So, my suggestion, ask them to bring you back to that timeline. I also think some of it's going to be around being present and receiving messages. Just being able to be present and receive. Yep, sometimes that happens. Sometimes that definitely happens. Sometimes also, if we're only using one ability and we're not being open to all of our other ones, they'll shut some off. There was a time my guides shut off my third eyeball. I couldn't see anything. I thought I was broken. And it's just that I was overtly relying on it. And looks can be deceiving. And I was ignoring all the other ways, oh my goodness, that I received messages. And it wasn't until I started, yep, you're not. It wasn't until I started. One of my guides always used to tell me it's only through understanding and application that it works. And I was like, fine. I'll never forget, like, when they gave me my sight back, it was kind of like I had a porthole and like they just like peeled the duct tape off and I was able to see again. And it's because I was too focused on what I was seeing. I wasn't listening to my inner knowing. I wasn't listening to the energetic sensations. I wasn't listening to any of the other ways that I receive messages. I was only focused on what I could see. And looks can be deceiving. If you're someone who's ever taken a course with me around that, especially like if we're talking about looking at things astral and stuff, you got to look at people's feet. I tell you that in real life too. Look at their feet. Shapeshifters aren't made up. That's like the best way I can say that. So I hope you know you're not broken, Claire. But I think it would be worth it to take some time and sit and just be present with yourself for a little bit. Even if you like meditate, you know, for a couple minutes at a time or whatever. Yeah. See, girl, so and this is one of those things where what I want to tell you is this. This is one of those times where people give up, okay? Because they automatically internalize it. I did something wrong. I'm broken. I messed up. I did all these things. It's not that. It's the way we have to change our perception of that. So take it as, what is the lesson I'm supposed to learn from this? What is the lesson I'm supposed to learn? And then the perception will change. And you can even ask them, like, listen, sometimes it's as simple as going up there and going, I honestly don't understand what you're trying to tell me. Can you please explain it to me in a different way? And remember, don't set an expectation, because half the time that's the problem. It's quiet because we're only expecting a certain answer. And if we don't get that, we shut it out. So that's my biggest suggestion. Dragon Eye, a lot of us do. One of the hardest parts of struggling with ourselves is we have to sit with ourselves. And if you don't like yourself, that's pretty difficult to do. So I'll tell you, when I first started to learn to sit with myself, I would curse the person who told me I had to sit with myself. That's how I got over it. I would sit there and go, God damn it, I hate her. I can't believe she's making me sit here and do this. I don't want to sit with myself. And you know why I didn't want to sit with myself? Because I didn't like myself at all. Now, let me tell you something. I think I girl boss too close to the sun, because I would rather spend all my time with myself than anybody else. That's just factual. Whereas when I first started sitting with myself, I was like, who's this bitch? Because I didn't like me. You know, and a lot of times it's hard for us to admit that to yourself. A lot of us think we like ourselves. We don't. Sit with it for a minute. Go sit. I bet you won't. I bet if you, and that's like one of the hardest things that was for me to learn. I also want you to know that when you start sitting with yourself, if you've never sat with yourself, don't chain yourself to a chair, okay? So don't go and go, I have to sit here now for 20 minutes because I'm in timeout. No, because then you're going to hate it. It's like when you jump on a fad diet. So what I want you guys to do is, if you're someone who's practicing sitting with yourself, give yourself grace, man. Sit with yourself for a minute. Just a minute. And then get up. Do something else. If you can do it a minute in a couple hours, do it in a minute in a couple hours. But it's kind of like meditating, okay? It's a muscle. It takes practice. And if our whole life, especially for women, if we have always been caring for other people, trying to manage other people, worried about other people, we have built this internalized shame that anytime we go to do something for ourselves, this time could be better spent helping somebody else. This money could be better spent helping somebody else. And so anytime we go to sit with ourselves, we get guilty about it. What? So what I try to tell people is if you would tell your friend to do it, then you should do it. If you would suggest it to your friend and not for you, you should wonder why you're not worthy of the suggestion. And a lot of times when people tell me, right, you ever heard the saying, I'm really good at giving advice, but I just can't take my own advice. Do you know why that is? As a former dropout from that perspective, it's because you don't think you're worth your own advice. That's just that. You don't think you're worth your own advice, so you give it to everybody else because you love them and you care for them and you think they're so important. And because you don't feel that way about yourself, well, you're not worthy of the advice. So if you're one of those people who's always like, wow, I give great advice, I just can never take it for myself, that would be why. That would be why. So I urge all of you, truthfully, you don't have to do something extravagant for yourself, but you have to show yourself that you're there for you, that you're going to be there for you, right? So if you cry, it's okay to cry. Don't get stuck in it, but you got to let the stuff out. You have to acknowledge, listen, you want me to tell you what I did yesterday? Yesterday, I was sitting here, I was processing through some emotions that were stuck in my left hip because, my God, they keep going back there. And so I was doing the energy work to get it out, right? And then I'm sitting there and all of a sudden now I'm crying and my makeup's running all down my face. And my guide was like, what is going on over here? And I literally was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't understand the emotion that I'm experiencing until it was, why don't you just admit that you're afraid? Why don't we just nail that, right? Because for me, as a kid, I was never allowed to admit I was scared. Even as an adult, I was never allowed to admit I was scared. If I told people they scared me, they told me, get over myself, you're too sensitive, or I'm not scary. You don't determine that. And so now I have to give myself permission to be like, hey, I'm scared. This scares me. Or, wow, that hurt my feelings. And acknowledge those things. And then what I do is I just let it go, right? Like I acknowledged it. I'm scared. Okay. Is there anything I can do in the moment? No, but I can acknowledge how I feel. And then I can start to see how to unpack why I feel that way and how to change it around. But unless I acknowledge the feeling, I can't grow from it. So that's why I always tell people, if you're someone who's stuffing and you're stuffing and you're stuffing and you're stuffing, you're not going to grow. You're just probably going to gain a lot of weight that you don't want in the first place. You're probably going to wind up with chronic pain. You're probably going to wind up with chronic digestive issues, whether it's IBS or ulcerative colitis or whatever it is, because you won't acknowledge the feelings and they get stuck in there. And then it manifests in weird ways because it's energy. So what I can tell you guys is, listen, and I've done this for myself and I've suggested it to other people and I know that they've done it for themselves. If you have a hard time identifying what your feelings are, get a feeling wheel. I'm so fucking serious. There is no judgment here, because especially if your parents never taught you how to emotionally regulate yourself, you're not gonna fucking know what a feeling is. What? Oh, you mean that thing that I used to experience that I used to get in trouble for? Yep, been there. So what's a feeling wheel? Hold, please. I would be happy to show you what a feeling wheel is. Hold on. So if you are someone who has, and I'm going to use Dinky as an example. Sorry, Dink. So there was a long time where every morning I would ask Dinky, whether I ask her in person or whether I text her, I go, how do you feel today? She would go, I'm fine, or I'm good. And I had to start going, fine isn't a feeling. Good isn't a feeling. And that's where she's like, then what is, right? And I said, you know how I know this? Because I've done the same thing. So if you don't know how to articulate your feeling, there is this thing called a feeling wheel. There's a bunch of different variations of them. Hold on, let me see if I can blow this up. There's different variations of them, okay? The feeling wheel, mother fudginal, hold on. It was just there. Okay, it looks like this. Mother, hold on. We're not using that one. Every website's having a critical error, apparently. 1 second. Okay, let's see if this works. It looks like this. Jeez. Okay, so basically, I apologize about the ring light. Sorry, hold on. Hold on, let me. Okay, so, can I? Yes. Okay, so what you do is you go to the center, okay? So if I said to you, how do you feel? You would go and you would look at the center, right? So it's scared, there's joyful, there's peaceful, there's all these things. Then there are subsections to that feeling, okay? And this is how we learn the real names of our feelings too. So let me give you an example. There are so many angry people walking around right now, and they all think they're angry. They're not angry. They're fucking sad. If they were able to sit with themselves long enough, they would learn that their anger's name is actually grief. You're not angry. You're a sad sack of shit. Sorry. I hate to tell you that. So whenever I have people who are super fucking angry, I know that you're really sad. And I also know as a kid that you are not allowed to share your emotions. So what you did is to protect yourself, to protect your little psyche from getting hurt anymore. Anytime you get sad, now you're mad. Now I'm going to hurt you. Now I'm going to, because you made me sad. It is our job as adults to unpack that shit, because if you do not, you will continue to pass it around to anybody who willingly will, and you'll also treat people from that way, right? And then you'll start losing people, and it's because they don't appreciate the way you fucking treat them. You just can't treat people like shit. And just because you treat yourself that way doesn't mean it's acceptable for other people. I had to learn that too. I used to be really mean, okay? I used to be super mean because I was angry, because I was used to getting picked on. I was used to getting my feelings hurt. I was used to people dismissing my feelings. So anytime that I thought something was going to hurt me, it just got immediately turned into anger, right? Because admitting that you're sad or lonely, that's embarrassing. And if I tried to admit that to my macho single dad, he would have told me to go eat peanut butter and get over it. It wouldn't have helped me any. So I want you guys to know that our childhood and the way we grow up will continue to affect us into adulthood until you do something about it. And there are so many grown people out there. You see a 50-year-old man, but you're actually talking to an 8-year-old boy. That's why he's so dumb. Same thing for women, especially worse. Do you know how many grown women I met that act worse than a 12-year-old girl? It's because you haven't grown the fuck up. Sorry. Emotional stunting isn't just for drug addicts. I don't know why people say that. People always say, if you do drugs, you get stuck at the age you started doing drugs. If you just experience life and you don't heal from it, you'll get stuck there. And every time someone triggers that wound, you're going to end up having an argument with the 7-year-old versus the 50-year-old that's standing in front of your ass. That's where communication breakdowns happen, because you were never taught how to communicate. That's why I always tell people, go ask the question. Unless you have these uncomfortable conversations with people, you're not going to grow. You guys are just going to keep, I can't say that word over here. You guys are just going to keep yanking each other's chain until somebody decides to pull their booty cheeks apart. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have one person who's growing and the other person is just going to be like, I hate you for that. How could you grow? You're such a selfish piece of
Thank you, Courtney. You're such a selfish piece of blah, 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 blah. How dare you grow without me? And instead of them going, wow, I could do this for myself, instead, they're just going to shit on the person who's doing it. So don't worry about that. Do you, boo? For real. Grow. Keep growing. There will always be people, Monica. There will always be people who have something to say. I did a video yesterday. Jesus did everything right, okay? They still crucified him. And then they completely twisted everything he said so that they could use him for power and control. No matter what you do, there is always someone who is going to object to it. There is always someone who's going to have a fucking problem with it. That's why when everybody tells me like, I can't, it is what it is. I used to be an is what it is, bitch. It ain't. That's just you saying I'm too lazy to pull my head out of my ass. I don't know how many times I have to tell people that. So that's why I do this work, because my goal is to help you bridge the gap to yourself. Society, our families, the Matrix has all taught us to disconnect from ourselves, right? We don't need to do that. You don't need all these extra things. What if I looked at you and said, you don't need that Apple Watch to tell you if you're having a heart attack today? What if I said to you, you don't need Life 360 to know if your kid's alive and where they're at? What if I said to you that your body and your brain are so advanced that you could do that all for yourself, but you just don't trust yourself and you just don't want to? You'd be like, Molly, you're full of shit. And that's fine. But am I full of shit? Or do you just not want to try it because you might fail? Do you know how many people don't want to try something because they might fail? Or that's bullshit, or you couldn't believe in that? So many people. There are so many people my whole life. People have told me, I don't believe in it, whatever. I have seen dead people since I was a kid. I have talked to animals since I was a kid. I have tried my whole life to tell my own family these things. They didn't believe me, and they would make fun of me whenever I would try to tell them, right? Because that's crazy. Is it crazy, or is your brain just so stuck in a pre-programmed mindset that you refuse to open the box? What does it hurt to look at a different perspective and try it? If it doesn't work, okay, bet. At least you tried it, but don't shit on it if you've never tried it. This is the same thing. One of my pet peeves, you ever go to offer someone a new type of food and they're like, I don't like that. And then you find out that they've never, ever, ever, ever fucking tried it, but they automatically tell everybody, I don't like that. You've never fucking tried it. What do you mean you don't fucking like it? So that's why I tell people that's about everything in life. If you are automatically ready to write stuff off that you don't like it because you're too scared to try it, you're going to have a miserable fucking life where you're not going to get anything accomplished. You're going to blame everybody else for your problems. You're never going to love yourself. You're never going to be able to accept love. And you're going to wander around going, wow, this sucks. I wonder when I should have pulled my head out of my ass 30 years ago. So I don't know how many more times I can tell you guys that it's not about talking to dead people. It's not about doing all these things. It's about, can you become a better person? And by becoming a better person, you can talk to dead people. You can hang out with your spirit guides. You can do energy work. You can go do all these things, but you have to realize that you are worth putting time and effort into. Everybody looks outside of themselves for the answer, okay? Who's the next person I'm going to date? What would my kids think? What would my husband think? What would my wife think? What would my teacher from the 3rd grade think? Stop. Because what do you think? I'm going to give you a prime example of this, okay? I was always a fat kid. From like this big, I was always a fat kid. When my parents got divorced, even more of a fucking fat kid. Because the only thing I could control was what was going in my mouth. I couldn't control anything else, but I could stuff my face with all the sweet stuff that'll lock out my dopamine, okay? So I was always a fat person, right? Everybody would tell me, my own dad would tell me, if you would lose weight, Molly, you would be so pretty. No, if you just lost a little weight, you'd be blah, blah, blah. If you just lost weight, you'd be happier. Blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you a little fun fact. So I went out and I lost like 100+ pounds, and you know what? Then it became a competition. So all of the people, right, who had all those things to say about me, now it's, you look, your skin and bones. Oh, you're smaller than me. You're wasting away to nothing. Can you people pick a personality? You didn't like me when I was fat. Now you don't like me that I've lost weight. So what is it? And I had to come to terms with, okay, everybody's going to have something to say because they're only talking to you about the way that they interact with the world. Okay, so whatever their opinion is the way they're going to project it onto you. Do for you all of the things that you want to do, regardless of somebody likes it. I'm not telling you to go out there and be an asshole and like just rip people apart, but you have to live your own life and you have to stand up for yourself. I do not know how else to tell people that. You have to stand up for yourself. And sometimes that means standing up against the people who tell you they love you, because sometimes actions and words don't add up. And it is your job to figure out where that is and when you're going to stop it or how much you're going to allow it to continue. Does that make sense? Sorry, am I slowing? Is everybody waiting for their oracle cards? Would you like me to shut up? I see a lot of people are talking about their oracle cards and I don't want to make you wait. But I hope you all know that you're worth this work. Like, I don't know how else to tell people this. My classes are $22. If you are someone who's always overstimulated, always, you can't go into large crowds, you run out of the fucking store when there's too many people. If you are someone who would start to build in a daily practice for yourself, you will start to notice how your life will change. If you start to make decisions for yourself, right, and what's best for you, take time for you. Start to ground yourself. Take time to shield yourself. You are a spiritual being having a spiritual experience. You may not like that, but I just want you to know what it looks like, okay? To me, when I come look at you astrally, energetically, you have a little soul in here, okay? Your soul is the electricity that uses your nerves as the fiber optic cables to move your meat suit around like you're Frankenstein, okay? If you are someone who constantly feels the need that you gotta run out of your skin, it's because your soul is acting like a ping pong ball in here because you're not grounding and you're not coming into your presence with yourself. Okay, so if you're someone who's always like, wow, I feel like I want to run out of my body. Wow, I need to run away. Wow, I need to do, I'm always anxious. Take the time to ground yourself. We have been lied to for a really long time about how energetic we are. And a lot of time you go to the doctor, it's anxiety, it's anxiety. Anxiety is the new word for energy. That's what I'm going to say. So if you've ever gone to the doctor and they say, because you're just anxious. Okay, you have an energy problem. Start there. That's when I keep telling people. I'm not a medical professional. I agree with holistic approaches. Keep going to your doctor, but also use your brain. The insurance company doesn't want you to know this. They don't want you to talk about this. They can't charge for fucking energy work. You can't. So that's why a lot of people won't talk about it, right? And because this is what we've been programmed by society to believe in. So I'm going to pull cards because I know there are people who are waiting for them. But what I want you to know is this. All of my classes are $22. So if you want to take energy basics, it's in the Patreon. They're all available. They're self-paced. You do them whenever you want. If you want to come hang out in Ember and start doing energy work, start taking some classes, Ember's $20 a month. If you want to come hang out there. If you are someone who ever comes in here and you want readings, my readings on live stream are $22. I'm not doing this to be a millionaire. My job isn't to be famous. It's not to be an influencer. My job is to help people connect to themselves. I am here to help you bridge the gap between spiritual connection and genuine human connection. That's it. I can show you how all of these things that you're capable of doing, but you have to believe it and you have to put the work in. And I know not everybody is going to be. And that's why I don't work with everybody, because there are some people who just aren't ready to work yet, and that's okay. I will meet you where you're at, but I'm not going to work with people who aren't ready to work, because we're just going to butt heads and you're not going to like me. And then you're going to wind up not liking me because you weren't ready to do the work yet. And it's not a hate on me or you, it's just the timing's off. So that's why I tell everybody, energy is so important. I try to make so many things available. I have free stuff on the YouTube. There's a free section to the Patreon. We have a free Discord that has resources for everything. We do movie night. We do craft night. I do workshops. If you're someone who's in the Patreon, I do a workshop every month called Ether Study Hall. Last month it was transmutation. This month it was it's actually next week. We're doing how to differentiate energetic sensations versus your nervous system. Because I got to tell you, a lot of the times when I do workshops, okay, I've done a couple of workshops. There's one workshop I do, it's called I don't remember. Trusting the whisper. There it is. Thank you. And that's how we learn to click into your intuition. And so I can't tell you, I've done this workshop and people come in and I promise you, you are going to have an experience with a guide. You are going to know for a fact and you're not going to be able to discredit it. And there were people who came into that workshop and they were like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to feel anything. I'm not sensitive. And every time someone leaves that workshop, they have had an experience and they can't deny it and they can't say it's just anxiety. And what I've realized is a lot of people who say they're full of anxiety, they experience all this anxiety, half of it's not anxiety. Half of it is messages from the spirit realm and other places that are trying to get to you, but you've been taught that it's anxiety. So that's why I also tell people being present in your body is something that is so important, because how are you going to distinguish that? So let me give you another example. When I'm doing mediumship, I can tell you how somebody died, and I'm going to tell you how nuanced it is. If a spirit comes to me and spirit says, I passed of a heart attack, they give me a bunch of pressure right here in my chest. If spirit comes to me and says, I died of a heart issue that was circulatory, I get pressure in my chest and then it spiders out. That is how simple the difference is. If I wasn't able to be present in my body and pay attention, I would never be able to differentiate that. That's where the evidential part comes in. It's because I'm more in paying attention, right, than some other people are. I can get more information because I'm open more than other people. Also, my intention is very different than other people. I think mediumship can be healing, but I also don't do it very often because people use mediumship as an avoidance tactic, and that don't fly with me. It's really great to talk about all those things, but there are times where we're really using it as avoidance. I can't tell you how many people come in here and they come in and they immediately tell me, oh, my life is terrible. Everybody's dead. Tell me some good news. Why do you only seek out spirituality in times of crisis? That's not what this is about. This is about seeking a way to become a better person and a better version of you and building that connection to the God within. Then you'll get up there. But it isn't about just coming to, oh, I need something. Even if you were religious, that's not what prayer is. Prayer isn't a want. Prayer is a thank you. Prayer is in gratitude. That's why I also tell people, when people tell me, well, you have to be disciplined. Discipline and devotion are two very different things. Yes, you'll build discipline through devotion. If this isn't something that you want to do, if it's not something you're ready to do, you ain't going to do it. And even if I acted like a boot camp expert, you wouldn't become disciplined in it without resentment. That is where the difference is of devotion and discipline. Devotion is doing something out of love and gratitude. Discipline is doing it out of obligation. This isn't done out of obligation. We do these things because we owe it to ourselves to be a better version of ourselves, to be a better person than we were yesterday. I worked on healing so much of myself, not only for me, but for the people in my life. Right? If I wanted to be a better person and a better version of me, it also translates to my relationships with other people. So if I'm having trouble, if I'm seeing the same patterns, if I'm having the same relationship over and over again, what is the cycle in me that I refuse to acknowledge? Mother Mystic, I gotta be honest, I don't get a lot of, my mediumship is, I guess what comes through is whatever they would like to tell me to come through. I don't usually get a theme. One thing I always talk about with mediumship though is if you're someone who hasn't integrated your own stuff, it will usually pop out in other spaces. So that's why I always tell people, everybody can do mediumship, everybody can do energy work, and you should, but you just have to make sure that you're protecting yourself and doing it in a way where the intention is set. I can't tell you how many people I've met who they're still living in ego, and ego is here to protect us, but also part of this journey is being a better person and helping to integrate that ego, because an ego death is something you will go through, and you won't be doing it because you want money or you want the fame or the fortune. Honestly, when spirit first kicked me out of the closet, okay, they were like, you have to you like build it and they will come. And I was like, what? And they just kept telling me like, build it and they will come. And I was like, okay. So I literally came on to TikTok and I was like, hi, my name's Molly. I am coming out of the spiritual closet and I'm scared. That's literally what my first week on TikTok was. If some of you have been here for that, my first week on TikTok was, I'm really scared. And you have to remember, the only person that, like, the only dead people that I had talked to were always my dead people or the people around me. I didn't do readings for other people, right? Because when I would try to tell people in my life, hey, I talk to dead people, they'd be like, you're so full of shit. My last ex-boyfriend, okay, I talked to his grandparents one night. They came to me and had a whole conversation with me. And I went to him the next morning and I said, I think I talked to your grandparents last night. And he went, no, you didn't. No. So I immediately shut off, right? I stopped. I just, I tried to tell my mom and my stepdad that I talked to animals. My stepdad laughed in my face, laughed at me, made fun of me. So I never told, never, whatever. So when spirit kept like pushing me to come out, it wasn't that I was afraid that people were gonna not believe me. It was more like I didn't want to deal with people being mean and making fun of me. And actually what happened is it didn't. When I first came on TikTok, I was just so honest that people couldn't be mean, right? I was just so honest of like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know how else to tell you that. I'm scared. And people were so kind and they were so welcoming. And it truthfully only hasn't been in the last couple of months where people now start calling me a demon and other stuff. And that's fine. That's your own projection of your own stuff. I'm not here to tell you what to do. What I do is I share all of the things that I've been taught and I just relay them to you. I don't believe that you need to go to a $3,000 retreat in Bali and get some bullshit certification that someone pulled out of their ass and made on Canva. That's not gonna fucking help you. And respectfully, as a client, if I was going to someone who was like, look at my certificate, who the fuck gave you a certificate to talk to dead people? Another medium? Like, there isn't a dead person that's ever come to me and said, I'm not talking to you unless you show me your credentials. That has never fucking happened. There has never been a dead person that said, sorry, can't talk to you. You don't have your mediumship credentials. It's never fucking happened. This is why I get so aggravated sometimes when I see people on TikTok. I watched this lady, I ended up blocking her because she just frustrated me so bad. When people come on TikTok and they tell you you're doing it wrong, you can't do it that way, there is some implicit bias that they also haven't gotten away from, okay? So I will tell you, there are plenty of things people on TikTok say aren't possible to do in a practice. They're very possible. I have had multiple people tell me that, right, when I find lost things, I don't remote view. I've never learned to remote view. The way my guides have taught me to do things is energetically. So if I am trying to find a lost object, I connect to the energy line that it has. If I'm trying to look for somebody, I will look through their third eye. That is how I will see them. And there are people who tell me that's not possible. We do it in here all the time. I've taught tons of people how to do it. It is very possible. It is your limited belief that is stopping you from believing in these things. I don't know how else to tell people this, but seeing isn't believing. Believing is seeing. Until you open up the gateway in your mind that it is a possibility, you won't see it because you're telling yourself it's not ever going to happen. So your brain is automatically going to create that in your reality. What I'm not asking you to believe everything I say, okay? I'm not asking you to do everything I do. I teach things so that you can then digest it and process it and make it your own. I don't charge thousands of dollars because I'll never mentor anybody. You know why? That's fucking weird. My ego isn't invested in this. I am doing this to help people be the best version of themselves, and I'm here to help you do it safely. Call me spiritual OSHA. Do you know how many people have come to me that they tried to do mediumship for the first time, or they tried to connect in with their guides, and then they had like this absolutely horrific experience that scared them from it for the rest of their lives? Ugh. That's why I do this work, because if you put the right steps into practice, you will not have that experience. I tell people all the time, use your discernment in who you interact with. Listen to people when they talk. Watch how people do readings. Because what I'll tell you is there's a lot of spiritual people out there who yak a lot, but they don't actually live it in their life. And that's one of my biggest things is I live everything I teach. And if you're someone who's a part of the Patreon, you get to hear about it all the time. The podcast is a place where it's called Untamed Ether for a reason. It's the real raw side of what it is to be a spiritual person having a human experience and what that looks like. And do I mess things up? Oh yeah, okay? All the time. And do I learn things? Have I grown since I came on TikTok? Hugely. Huge. I learn every day. I will never be a master at anything. I am constantly learning. I learn from all of you as much as I learn from my guides and the other beings that I work with. Every time I do a reading, I become better. Every time I do a new soul contract, every time I meet with someone's spirit guides, I learn something new. I'm able to put more things together. I'm able to open up more avenues for people. I'm able to tell people, sometimes that happens. There's actually a lot of people in here who have gone to meet some of their guides and their guides have said, not yet. And you know why? It's because we need to show that we're giving the credit to ourselves, okay? We need to show that we are doing the work for ourselves. If you're someone who's been here since I started doing past life readings, it took me over a month to connect in with my guide for past lives. It took me over a month because I would go to him every day and he wouldn't acknowledge me. There was a couple times he would just do this. And that was it. Nothing. He would ignore me. And it wasn't until like a month in of me consistently going back that he finally started to talk to me. And you know why? Because I needed to show that I was doing this for the right reasons. It wasn't out of ego, and that I was going to stick with it. And that I wasn't going to give up because it got hard. And so a lot of the times our guides will shut us down. And they'll be like, not yet. And this is why there are some people on this app who will tell you shadow work's bullshit. It was it's a term it's coined by Carl Jung, whatever they want to say. What I will tell you is this. Call it your shadow side, your light side. That's how I look at it. And if you don't integrate them, your experience is going to be through the lens which you refuse to integrate. So could you do witchcraft and all these other things that people talk about without doing it? Sure, but you're probably going to hurt yourself and you're going to hurt other people because you're not integrating and you're doing it out of ego. This is why I tell people, before you go do mediumship, work on some trauma stuff, okay? Because that stuff still pops up there. And if you have that experience down here and you get triggered in the physical, you'll get triggered up there and you'll have a whole bad experience. So I'm not ever telling people don't do this. I don't want anyone to hurt themselves. Building a foundation is the best way to make sure you don't do that. So if you're someone who wants to start jumping into these things, learn how to ground yourself, learn how to cleanse yourself, learn how to shield yourself, learn how to cut your cords, and build in a practice of energetic and spiritual hygiene, then go. Then go run amok, do whatever you want. But unless you build that foundation, you're going to take off full tilt and you're going to run headfirst into a wall and crack your head open, and then you're going to be mad. So I don't know how else to tell you guys that the journey to coming home to yourself, the journey to learning you, it is slow and steady. It is not a marathon that you try to run in a day. However old you are, it took you however long and years of experience to get all that stuff. So know that it will take some time to integrate and unpack it. It is not instant. If you are someone who has an instant gratification problem, like somebody else I know, it will pass, but you have to be aware of why it exists. Monica's like, eh. Okay. Hi, Red. Hello, hello. All right, that was a good ramble. Thanks for letting me ramble for a while, friends. Does anyone have questions out of any of that? I would also like to remind you that you have 2 days left to get alignment audits if you are someone who would like one. Alignment audits are available for 2 more days. I tell you what's in your energy, what your guides want you to know, and then I put together a ritual for you to do. They're 33 doll hairs, and whatever time you book them for is around the time that they wind up in your email. Thanks for the roses, Leah Dragon. I thank you for hanging out with me, my friend. It's always an honor and a privilege. So also, go get a feeling wheel. You guys can look up feeling wheels. They're available for everywhere, truthfully. Just type them into Google. And they'll pop up. Okay, let me get back. I know people have been waiting for oracle cards. I am beautiful, Red. Thank you for asking. How's your road trip? Okay, who has been waiting for cards? I also just want to say that when I'm in the middle of a speech, I'm not going to stop to pull oracle cards. So please just bear with me and have patience. That's all. All right, Ellie, let's see. This is the Black Dragon. Cocoons you so that your divine potential grows. Meditate, reflect, and undergo a metamorphosis. You got it, Anna. I'm coming to you next, and then I'm going to Leah. All right, let's see. Doo-doo-doo. Let me find him. Let's see. Choosing this card suggests it's time to rest, for it is during such moments of relaxation that divine projects, creative ideas, or a new way of thinking are conceived. In times of peace and stillness, fresh seeds and ideas can grow. The mighty black dragons wish to create a dark cocoon for you now so that the new can germinate and sprout. You're asked to accept their assistance, for it'll serve your spiritual growth. Take time to meditate or reflect, and the dragons will surround you with their breath, and this will allow the opportunity that is being presented to you to take root. Dragon Eye, there's never an obligation, my friend, ever, ever. And I do vibe checks all the time. It's just these audits were just for around the end of the year. So, and there's a waffle attached to the audit. So if you're someone who books an alignment audit, you're entered into a waffle to win your soul design. So that is part of it too. So always, there's never an obligation. And I do a bunch of free stuff on here too, especially vibe checks. You're welcome, Ellie. Okay, thank you, Dinky. All right, I'm going to Anna, and then I'm going to Leah. You are welcome, Demi. Thank you all, truthfully, for all of you who have booked alignment audits. Thank you for letting me in your energy. It's always an honor and a privilege. I have so much fun doing them. And I can't wait to see who's going to get their soul design, because I also have a ton of fun doing that. So friendly reminder, if you're someone who wants to book one, you just go book it up in the link in the bio whenever you want to book it is the time where it appears in your email. Jacob, thanks for the rosa. Give me 1 second. A vibe check, Ellie, is basically just a small energy read where I just kind of tell you what's going on in your energy and what I can see for blockages and things like that. All right. And this is the royal blue and gold dragon. Strengthens you to stand in your power with wisdom, awakens to your own majesty, and wear your cloak of power with pride. Thank you guys for the roses. Thank you, you're a saint. A royal blue and gold dragon is lighting up the gifts and talents you carry in your aura. It is breathing courage, support, and dignity into you so that you can wear your cloak of power and wisdom with pride. Most important of all, it is awakening you to who you truly are and is enabling you to radiate your special light. This dragon is always with you, and it holds your sword of truth, so Archangel Michael can enable you to speak and act with truth and honor at all times. It roars at those who try to diminish you, and it befriends those who empower you. You have all the support you need to teach divine majesty by example. Okay, Leah, let's see. Leah, this is the silver dragon. Illuminates your potential with higher light. Access untapped resources, look into your soul, and see higher possibilities. Vibe checks are usually something I offer every day. They're 22. I also offer them in private, but if you're someone who recently had an alignment audit, the very top, so alignment audits tell you what's in your energy, basically a vibe check, and then I tell you spirit guide messages. So regular vibe checks are 22 and alignment audits are 33. So what I would tell you is if you're someone who is thinking about doing a vibe check, or you're thinking about doing an energy anything, I would look at the audit, just because you get the most information, like the most bang for your buck for the next 2 days. Whereas in live streams, vibe checks are 22 and then spirit guide messages are 22, because they're usually 2 separate readings. All right, let me see. Where is the silver dragon? I just saw it. I know I did. Okay. Your 5th dimensional soul blueprint contains the keys and codes of your gifts, talents, wisdoms, and power. Much of this is locked away and unused. Receiving this card suggests that it is time for some of this potential to be ignited and brought forward into your life. You are ready to reveal yourself and be who you truly can be. Sit quietly and see or sense the shimmering silver dragon who has come to you, and allow it to reflect back to you the hidden aspects of your soul and your higher possibilities. That was a good one, Leah. I love that. Jacob, are you still here with me? You want to do one thing you need to know, right? Is that it? An oracle and one thing you need to know? Do. Okay, let me see what your oracle is, and then I'm going to tell you. 1 second. Left or right, Jacob? Left or right? Don't forget, we're doing a live guided meditation on Saturday. If you're someone who is an Ember Healer's Hearth or Soul Sanctuary, we're doing Dragon Light codes, if that's something you're interested in. This is the Alpha Dragon, Jacob. Harness the divine masculine power of creation. Destroy the old, visualize your dreams, and help to manifest a new world. Let's see. Alpha Dragons are bringing you a very special message. You're being called to demonstrate creative forces in your current project or experience. So ask these magnificent beings to assist you, and know that their masculine energy will empower and strengthen you as you visualize what you want to build. You can also ask these dragons to support you in constructing our new 5th dimensional world. As you hold the vision of the new golden age, they can take your pictures and make it work. Bye, Demi. Have a beautiful day, my friend. Jack, stop chewing on your foot. Okay, Jacob, do I have permission to come over into your energy? Jacob, can I ask you something? Do you have a hard time expressing your feelings and sharing your truth and just speaking your truth? Do you sometimes bite your tongue a lot and to keep the peace? Bye, Demi. If you're looking for an energy read, it's the motorcycle, Nikki, on this one. If you're looking for a mini energy, it's the pumpkin. Okay, so the one thing you need to know is this. Do you notice that you get this weird invisible energetic ball in the back of your throat? that is an invisible ball, but it feels like you have this big ball. Usually hangs out in the back of your tongue. Thanks for the motorcycle. Okay, so that is your throat chakra getting blocked. So every time you stop yourself from expressing an emotion, every time you stop yourself from telling your truth, every time you bite your tongue to make other people comfortable, you're causing this big blockage in energy. So what I want you to do is I want you to pay attention to the next time you go to share your feelings or anything like that. I want you to notice how your throat feels. And if your throat feels like it's being blocked, that's your sign that you're suppressing your truth and you need to share it. Thanks for letting me into your energy, my friend. It's always an honor and a privilege. Jack, if you don't stay away from that freaking toe. There you go. Yes, sir. Listen, Jacob, throats are a big thing for people. So there's no like guilt or shame in it. It's something that we'll always continue to work through. Get it, Monica? I'm proud of you, girlfriend. Okay, Nikki. What I am going to say is, what time is it? Oh, shit. Okay, here's the deal, homies. What I'm going to do is I think this is going to be my last one for now because I need to get some water. I'm getting screamed at proficiently about it. So I think this is going to be my last reading. I'm going to take a break, get some water, veg out for a little bit, and then I'll be back on later tonight too for a little while. And don't forget, if you're someone who wants to do energy work, guided meditations, you want to take classes, the Patreon is all on demand and it's self-paced. Hello, Fallon. Okay, Nikki, do I have your permission to come on over in your energy and visit? Don't forget, you guys got 2 days left to book alignment audits. If you are someone who would like one, they're $33 hairs. And you're also entered into a waffle to win your soul design. Where is my... Okay. Ugh. Nikki, do you deal with anxiety, belly? Do you struggle, is self-worth and image, like self-image, something you struggle with quite a bit? Leah, I can't wait to see them. Okay. Is there also, is there someone in your life that you've had to set boundaries around and take a step back from in the last like 3 months? Okay. So the other thing, is this someone who you struggle to articulate those feelings to? Do you also struggle to tell people your truth? And a lot of the time you keep your opinions to yourself. Hi, Nourish. Is that something you've been doing since you were little? Do you deal with headaches? put a pin in that question. I think in a year or so you'll see that you have. Okay. A couple things I'm going to tell you. You're someone who struggles to ask people for help, right? You have a hard time receiving help from other people. I also take it that you have a hard time receiving compliments from people. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you right off the rip everything I can see. Your sacral chakra houses a lot of our childhood experiences, even things that we don't think affect us do, and they live in our sacral chakra. And until we're ready to sit with them and acknowledge them, they'll hang out there. The next thing is your solar plexus, right? Our solar plexus is where we see ourselves and where our self-worth lives. And the way we see ourselves is through the lens through which we see the world, right? So as above, so below. So working on our perception of self is how we'll work on our perception in everything else. How we look at the world, how we approach relationships, how we approach jobs, all those things. 2, your heart space is holding on to a bunch of that sadness from that person that you had to let go of. And I think the reason is what it looks like is that this person was someone it took you a lot to stand up to. I also feel like you were getting validation from this person and how they found you to be, I don't know how else to say this, like how they included you in their life, and it's something that you know is in your best interest, but it still sucks. So what I want you to do is I want you to acknowledge those feelings, and you gotta process through them. Otherwise, you're gonna be holding on to this like dense shit in your chest, and it's gonna start manifesting as these weird like chest pains. The other thing is when I go to your throat, right? Your throat has this big blockage in it, and it's because you have a hard time expressing those things. When I look deeper at it, it's because there's a cord that connects from your throat to your sacral chakra, which tells me that this is something that was a belief that started in childhood, right? Where it wasn't safe to say your feelings, you're too sensitive, you're too much, you're too loud, so it shut down our communication center. The other thing I'm going to tell you is this. A lot of times when we're someone who's critical, judgmental, and cynical of ourselves, it's because of our crown, right? Again, the way we see ourselves is the way we'll see the world. So what I would tell you is this: as far as your headaches go, it would probably be worth it to start doing some grounding work, shielding stuff, and cutting your cords, because that will help with getting rid of those headaches. So especially cutting your cords, I think, because I think sometimes some of the headaches you have don't go away with Tylenol. Am I right? Okay. Do you have one now? Fathom things with a heartbeat. Okay. Why don't we do this? Let's run an exercise together and let's see how your head feels afterwards. Does that sound good? Okay, I want you to do this. I want you to close your eyes. Okay, and then what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And then let it go. Now what I want you to do is twofold. I want you to imagine that out of the bottom of your feet is growing these 2 ginormous golden roots. Those roots are growing from your feet all the way down to the center of the earth, where they're locking into the crystalline and magnetic grids of the earth itself. As you've done that, what I would now like you to do is I would like you to imagine that you're looking at an outline of your body, okay? Off of that body is coming all of these cords. Some of them are thick, some of them are thin, some of them are slimy, some of them are multicolored. I want you to take whatever kind of sharp object you would like, and I want you to imagine that you are cutting a straight line through all of these cords that are attached to you. And after you have cut through all of those cords, I want you to take whatever that sharp object is, and I want you to draw a line in the sand between those cords. And in that, that is making the determination of this is my energy and that is your energy. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take another deep breath in and let it out through your mouth. And then I want you to come back and tell me if your headache has stopped building. Dragonite, I can pull it for you right now if you give me 2 seconds. Oh, left or right, Dragonite? Okay, so you're fine. We were just running an exercise. So a lot of your headaches are energy based, okay? You are someone who is more energetically sensitive, Nikki, than you think you are. This goes for everybody. If you're someone who walks around with a headache that you can't get rid of, it's an energy headache. A pill ain't gonna fix it. Okay, so this is why I always tell everybody, cut your cords. So Nikki, if I can suggest anything to you, grounding exercises, one, and learn to shield and cut your cords will really help with some of that. Hi, Devin, long time no see. This is the orange dragon. Bring soul family and communities together. Spread belonging, warmth, and oneness. Bring people together everywhere. So what I would like to tell you is, thank you, A, for letting me in your energy, and B, you are someone who is more inclined than you think you are. You just got to trust yourself. When you pick this card, your guidance is to see the divine light in everyone. Look for the bonds that link you. The orange dragons will help you to spread their light of warmth, welcome, and acceptance to all people, races, and cultures. Let that light shine through you, and your sense of belonging and oneness in your heart will open. This will help you to develop your abilities of higher manifestation. When you visualize the people and animals of the world coming together in harmony and acceptance, orange dragons will flood your vision with their light. Archangel Metatron himself will then take it to energize the plan for Earth, so hold the highest vision of the Golden Age that's being prepared and do your part to bring your community and the world together. Dragonite, that was fabulous. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, so Devin, would you like an oracle card? And this is my friendly reminder, if you're someone who wants to know what's in your energies, what your spirit guides want you to know, give me a second. And then a ritual to put all that stuff together. It is 33 doll hairs. It's available for 2 more days. The link is in the bio. Whatever time you set the appointment for is the time that it will appear in your email. All right, Devin, let's see. Left or right? You're so welcome, Nikki. Thank you for allowing me in your energy, my friend. Been busy this afternoon, guys. Getting it. Bye, Dragon. I love your face. I'm always around, my friend. Come hang out with us whenever you would like. This is the Air Dragon. Helps you rise above earthly matters. Communicate honestly. Brings inspiration and hope. See life from a higher perspective. Air Dragon suggests that you take things lightly, so choosing this card indicates you should relax and look at part of your life from a higher perspective. Air Dragons also inspire you to communicate honestly but lovingly in a way that calms and soothes everyone around you and promotes good outcomes. Honest communication will bring pure white light into your aura, and when this happens, everybody will trust and respect you. Blue Air Dragons are supporting you as you rise above your challenges. They'll help you to say the most tactful or inspirational words and assist you to stand in your power with integrity. Breathe blue and white light into your heart center, and as an Air Dragon appears in front of you, breathe the light over it. In this way, you're energizing and motivating it so that it'll always be connected to you. It is time to decide on your next step, so be clear about what you really want. Oh, Devin, that was a good one. Okay. So I'm going to run away because Jack needs to go outside. I need some water stat. This is my friendly reminder to you that alignment audits are available for 2 more days. They're 33 doll hairs. They look like this. I tell you what is in your energy, what your spirit guides want you to know, and then I put together a ritual for you to do to incorporate all of those things. Whatever time you book the alignment audit for is the time that the report will wind up in your email. If you are someone who books one of these audits, you're entered into a waffle to win your soul design. That is a mix of your soul contracts and your human design to help you learn you better than you already know. So that is what's up. Don't forget, come hang out with us on the Patreon. We have a live meditation on Saturday. The new podcast episode is tomorrow. Anything else? No? Oh, Claire, thank you guys for showing up for yourselves, honestly. That's what keeps me showing up. As long as everyone keeps showing up for themselves, I'll keep showing up too. I promise. Okay. Bye, my friends. I love your faces. Don't forget, 2 days left for alignment audits if you would like one. And I will see you later on tonight.